Hello and welcome back to a brand new episode of the Pick a Side podcast. My name is Joel Moran, and I'm here with River Brown, Joel Dells, and John Tortorelli. And on today's episode, we're going to continue our NFL preview series, and we're going to preview the AFC West and draft an all-time AFC West offense and defense, and then some recent news in the NBA. All-time point guard Russell Westbrook, first ballot Hall of Famer, announced his retirement. The NBA also released their opening day schedule and their Christmas schedule. We are going to react to that as well. And there's an Australian point guard that is eyeing an NBA return, and his name is Ben Simmons.
We made that a topic.
He's eyeing a return.
He is.
I don't know if
He's
I
been
saw
practicing with the Australian team, and they said that he's looking good.
Nice. Shout out to Ben Simmons. Oh boy.
What's going on, fellas? How we doing? Shout out to Drew.
Yeah, shout out to Drew.
Shout out to Drew.
Hope his dog gets better.
Yeah, he couldn't make it today because his dog Daisy isn't doing so good right now. So hopefully everything comes back right. But it doesn't feel right doing AFC West preview. We don't got Drew to yell about Bo Nix and whatnot.
Honestly, thank God.
Now we need that, man. We need it. The people love to see it. They love Bo Nix or hate Bo Nix. Either way, they love it.
Nix. Well, there's going to be a lot of respect on the Broncos on this podcast. I don't think
nobody dislikes it. They're just more confused when we have the conversation because it's like, what are we talking about with Bo Nix, you know?
Well, Bo Nix is polarizing.
Well, he's an excellent quarterback. Second most touchdowns by a rookie in NFL history. In his second season, won a playoff game against one of the best quarterbacks in the league, Josh Allen. So you can only do nothing but respect him. I mean, you got to respect his game. You got to respect how he leads his team.
There's not a lot of dudes. There's not a lot of dudes who could walk in their rookie year and replicate what a Hall of Fame quarterback can do. You know what I'm saying? Like, not a lot. Replicate. Go past it. Russell
just retired officially.
Russell Wilson, of course, bro. I can't forget about him.
Wilson and Westbrook retiring in the same offseason.
Both Russes.
Two great Russes.
What a coincidence, man. John, how are you doing?
I'm doing well. Great to be here. I'm trying to adjust my microphone. I can't do it, but I'm excited for this show today. I think we have a lot of good topics. I'm excited to the draft. First one. Riv, how are you doing? I haven't seen you in a bit, brother.
Are you guys still in the same basketball league?
We are.
Playoffs this weekend.
No, it's next weekend.
Oh, shit. Playoffs next weekend.
Yeah. Well, everyone makes it, I'm assuming?
Yeah.
What's it looking like? Who's the favorite?
We're the 2 seed.
Who is the favorite?
It's Lucas's team.
Are they?
You guys are on the same team, though, right?
We are.
Where would you guys stand in like the pecking order?
I don't know what that means.
Okay.
Oh, like for the teams or players?
No, in terms of like you're not the favorites. Are you second, third, fourth?
Definitely in the clear number
pecking
2.
order.
Clear number 2. Okay.
Yeah, it means that the order of the best teams.
Yeah, they have a kid that dropped like 40 last weekend.
He's nice.
He's actually pretty good.
Cool.
We're playing an open run with him. His name's Kai.
Do you guys ever?
He just randomly one day hit like 7 straight threes.
A Lucas team.
So did he get lucky?
He's a better driver than shooter.
Yeah.
So.
You just get lucky, or is he that good?
No, he's pretty good. Yeah.
Is there ever someone who's too good where you're like, you can't play in this league?
Not in this league, but there are some other leagues.
I've had that in a few leagues.
Like if you go to like Hoop Heaven League and see like Don Barlow pulling up, like an NBA player in like a random men's league, he could drop 40 points and a half. Yeah, no, there's other leagues, but like our league, there's some good players. There's some like former like D3 players and stuff like that, but no one on that level.
You got to be good if they're playing in a league with John Tortorelli and River Brown.
I was playing in this one league, and this team brought like a D2 player. He's like 6'4", and he was a guard. Bro gave me like 48 points. Bro. And I'm talking about like all from the half court line, like straight threes. I'm like, dude, why the fuck are you here?
Yeah.
Like, it gets to a
go
point,
go with the trainer, bro, and work on your game.
But there's leagues for like people like that, like D2, D3. Like, don't play. We just want to hoop, bro. We don't want to do all that extra shit.
Joel, how you doing, man? You just posted your first gaming video, Call of Duty video. I don't know if the people know your setup is complete. You showed me your streaming setup is ready to go. You could play games, Madden, COD, whatever it might be. How you feeling?
Feeling good. I'm just getting in the habit of recording everything. That's really the toughest part because I play games a lot, and there's a lot of good moments that I got, but it's just not recorded. So now I got this set up. In honor of Russell Westbrook, I'm gonna play some 2K rec later, and I'm gonna,
You have a Westbrook build?
I have a Rose build that I'm gonna make look like Westbrook.
Yeah, it's valid.
He's
close
6.
Enough.
Yeah, he's 6'4". It's a dunking build. I'm gonna make him look like Westbrook, and I'm gonna drop 30 with him.
Type shit.
Shout out to Russ. My rebound ain't high enough. That's the thing. I can't.
I think it's growth that you're not gonna drop $100 to build a Westbrook build.
Yeah, I just have so many builds. I just changed the faces of them. They fit the play style perfectly. Yeah. But I've been working on that setup. So I'm trying to do more content for the NFL season. But we can start off this episode by talking about Russell Westbrook retiring. One of the all-time great point guards. Averaged a triple-double in 4 different seasons. I mean, Rev, let's get into the accolades first before we just go all the way with it, man. I mean, he's a 9-time All-Star, 3-time assist leader, 2-time scoring champion, and his accolades are off the charts. He's one of the best point guards ever. MVP, one of the best seasons ever in 2017, who broke an advanced analytic because the season was so good that they had to change BPM on Basketball Reference. That is Russell Westbrook, and he has officially retired with a great video on the social media, I would say. That shit was fire. He said nothing, but it meant everything. Those are the best type of videos.
Did you have Westbrook on your top 10 peak?
Yeah, I did.
I forgot to put Shaq.
Really? Yeah.
And he didn't let me put LeBron or Harden.
So Mars on Player's Choice asked us to create a top 10 peaks point guard list, and of course I made my list and I put Westbrook in my top 10. Obviously, he's a clear top 10 point guard peak of all time. I think he's number 7. I got number 1 was Steph, number 2 was Magic, number 3 I went as high as I put Shea there. I think Shea's having one of the best peaks ever. He's been second in MVP the last 3 years. He's won back-to-back. He's been an NBA champion. Number 4, this is just simply like off of how good I think they are. I think is Luka. I think Luka Doncic is up there. Number 5. You think that's crazy? I don't think it's crazy. Number 5 is Steve Nash. Number 6 is Chris Paul. Then number 7 is Russell Westbrook. That's it. You think that Luka is not better than Steve Nash as a player or Chris Paul as a player?
Luka top 4 is Rich over Jerry West, over Isaiah Thomas. You can argue me.
Isaiah Thomas?
He's a peak.
He made the top 10.
Isaiah Thomas.
I'd have to really think about that too. I think that's a conversation.
No, for me,
Oscar Robertson. He wouldn't be above Steve Nash for me. Yeah.
I left the 60s guys out of it. So like Jerry West wasn't on there for me. Oscar Robertson wasn't on there for me.
Was that a rule from Mars, or was that you just?
That's just me.
He kind of lets you do your.
That's just me making my own rules along the way, because I'm not gonna pretend to act like I watch them, and I'm not gonna pretend like, you know, the numbers in that era and the pace, it wasn't a little bit inflated. I mean, Jerry West was an all-time great player, but in a league in which there was like only 8 teams, you know, he made the NBA Finals 10 times. He lost 9, and then he won 1. But he was so great that he won a Finals MVP in a loss. Yeah. You know, Oscar Robertson, triple-double guy before Russell Westbrook. But the ultimate thing is, like, I don't think they're better players than Luka Doncic. Like, that's it. I think Luka Doncic, he was in a bad situation in Dallas, and he had to carry bad rosters for so many seasons. And that's the reason why he doesn't have a championship right now. I believe that if you swapped his situation with Shea, he would be a champion. And I could get Steve Nash, 2-time MVP. Like, his peak is ridiculous. He's not a better player than Luka Doncic. Like, there's no way. Like, offensively, Luka Doncic can make any pass Steve Nash can make, and he is 3 times the scorer that he is. So, to me, that I took that into account. I know it's very early, but I do feel like when I'm watching Luka, I'm watching an all-time great play.
Nash is just a top whatever offensive engine of all time, because for 9 straight years, he led top 5 offense or better, top 1 offense 4 or 5 times. The other guard that I'd also have above Luka, peak for peak, is Chris Paul, probably 2008. Chris Paul, I mean, that level of a player is often forgotten, but I can understand him being top 10. I think that's fair. It's just also a little bit early, too, because we truly haven't seen Luka's entire career play out, which is why I am taken aback a little bit, but I understand that he should be in the discussion top 10 guards.
So Mars gave us an option. He said, Joel did the multiple years. I did just the 1 year. Okay. But I tried to cheat on my first list. So I had like 2020 LeBron. And then I had like Harden, but he said I couldn't use Harden. So I was like, all right.
But you could use LeBron for 2020.
No, I couldn't.
You couldn't use either.
He wouldn't let me use
They're
LeBron.
not. You had to use players that were listed as their career position was that position. Yeah. So for point guard, you know,
so the guys with the 1 years, I couldn't do it. So I was like, all right. So, but I had Luka top 5. I had West on mine. I had Oscar on mine. Isaiah Thomas, I think, made my list.
You know, Isaiah Thomas,
he was
over
like
Luka's crazy.
Yeah, he was like 9 or 10. And then I threw a little sneaker at 10. I threw D Rose on my shit.
Okay. Oh, just 1 year peak? Okay.
Yeah, I threw D Rose on my shit.
I think Isaiah Thomas is an excellent player, but his claim to fame is he beat in the playoffs a Michael Jordan-led team, a Larry Bird-led team, and then Magic Johnson-led team. That's his claim to fame in the playoffs. But overall, when you look at the team that he was playing in Boston, Boston was heavily injured, riddled with injuries. The Bulls weren't the Bulls yet, and the Lakers also were going through their own turmoil. And I think Isaiah Thomas gets a little bit too much credit for the Pistons' success when that team featured a top 3 defender in history in Dennis Rodman, Joe Dumars, who in one of the NBA Finals was a Finals MVP, and you can argue that he was just as important, if not more, than Isaiah Thomas. I mean, he was an elite defender for his time. And then you had Bill Laimbeer, and then you had Mark Aguirre, one of the best 6-man off the bench, and then you had Vinnie Johnson, microwave Vinnie Johnson, and then you had Isaiah Thomas. Like, it was one of the most well-built rosters around a player. And if you look at like his numbers in the regular season, he never finished top 2 in MVP voting. He was never like that level of individual performer. So that's why, to me, I had to separate the individual versus the team, where the Pistons accomplished a lot as a team, but individually, I do believe, Luka is better than
Well, those teams were
I had
discussing.
Luka too.
You're Luka 2.
I had my list. Yeah, I had Luka 2. Yeah. Yeah.
So he's over Magic.
Magic was 3. Yeah, I had 24 Luka
Bro,
2.
what?
Christ.
What do you want?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I had Luka at
That's
24
terrible
Luka
shit, bro.
2. Yeah, Magic
Terrible.
3. I had Nash 4. This was all.
Bro.
I forgot SGA. I did forget.
How do you
SGA.
have Luka above Magic Johnson?
That is crazy.
That is
Really?
nuts.
2024? He was amazing.
When he shit his pants in the finals.
He did shit his pants in the finals, but that was when he could hit the 3-ball. He was so different.
No, with Magic Johnson,
So
yeah,
different.
I can't get with that.
Yeah, I had him high. I put him at
There's
2.
no way you believe that.
I mean, Magic Johnson won 3 MVPs.
I only had 1 year Magic.
I see. Well,
Yeah, I did 1 year.
I was doing multi-years.
Yeah.
Steve Nash, to me, from 2004 to 2008, really like 2009, that's when I thought he was at his best.
Mhm.
But, Steve Nash, his peak was in his 30s. People forget about his
What's wrong with
20s. Well, before that, is like
He was in Dallas.
he was in Dallas with Dirk, and he was not an MVP level player. And
He was still.
you
pushing out all-time
you
offense.
were with another top 20 player of all time, and you couldn't get it done.
Yeah.
If Luka played with Dirk, if any of these modern players played with another top 10 player in the league at the time and they didn't win, that would be held against them. Like, I understand Steve Nash went to Phoenix and he turned them around completely, and he gets credit for being an MVP in back-to-back seasons, and he did peak as one of the highest point guards ever. But you can't ignore also the system around him, 7 seconds or less either, because
He was the system.
Mike D'Antoni curated the system around
Wait,
him.
are we arguing Nash and Luka? Because I don't think it's an argument.
Oh no, I think Luka's better. It was clear. But Steve Nash, like, he deserves respect for that. But I think a big reason why you have to dim him a little bit is the defense and the scoring volume. I think those are the 2 things that you have to ding him for.
The reason I say that is when the Suns signed Steve Nash, they won 29 games the year before. They won 33 more games his first year at the team when they hired D'Antoni, brought in Nash, and then Quentin. But they already had on that team that won 29 games, Stephon Marbury, Joe Johnson, Shawn Marion, and Amaris Stoudemire. So people discredit Nash's reigns largely because he never won a championship, and a lot of it is Laker fans who argue that Kobe should have won those MVPs, and they completely neglect to look at the fact he took the 20th ranked offense in the NBA to an all-time height, number 1 in the NBA. He completely revolutionized pick and roll. It's an unstoppable offense. If you want to have Luka above Steve Nash because you think he's a better player at his peak, that's fine. But a 2-time league MVP when Luka hasn't been runner-up. Oh, yeah, he was runner-up. 2024, I'm mistaken there. But when Luka hasn't truly had that level of an offensive height for any of those Maverick teams, it's tough for me to this early in Luka's career put him above Steve Nash.
You're not taking
a
single
true.
Nash
I'm going to
year
argue.
over, like,
I'm going
last
to make the case by the end of Luka's career, he probably will have a higher peak. But when I look at that 05, 06 season, and when I look at both of his MVP seasons, I have a tough time putting Luka above that.
Well, the thing is that Luka Doncic in the second season of his career,
Westbrook,
he led the number 1 offensive rating in NBA history at the time.
That's true.
So that's what he did. So we
so
can't
did
say
the
that he
Kings.
didn't have that offensive height, because in the second season, he led the number 1 offensive rating of all time. And he's come second in MVP, or he's been close to winning MVP, because I don't think he's coming second yet. He's coming third and stuff like
But
that.
he probably was.
The reason why he hasn't won MVP is because of the competition, and I think of the goalpost moving every year when it comes to the award in regards to him, I believe.
Steve
But
Nash didn't have competition?
he did have competition. Kobe Bryant he averaged 35 points per game.
Yeah,
he had
team
one of the
success.
best scoring seasons of all time, but in that era of the league, team success was heavily weighed more. It wasn't until really 2017 Russell Westbrook did something incredible despite being a 6th seed that they gave him the MVP. That was when things really shifted and people more so voted on the individual rather than the individual and the team.
But I feel like it's still like mixed. Like we saw Joker do it in Russ, but other than that, have we seen like a non-top 2 seed, 3 seed?
But you typically have a really
more
good
than usual, especially in that NBA. You had a player that led the number 1 seed is usually going to be the MVP. Whoever led a top seed is going to win the MVP. That's why Kobe Bryant in 2008 won MVP over Chris Paul, because in the final week of the season, he beat him out and they were top 2 in MVP, and they were the 1st seed and Kobe outplayed him, so he won the MVP. So team success was heavily tied into that. When in regards to Luka Doncic, the Jokic averaging triple doubles, Shea being on the number 1 seed for 3 straight years and averaging the most efficient 30 ball by a guard in history. That's the level of competition that he's going up against. They have the team success, and they also have the individual numbers. Luka Doncic, you can argue his 2024 season offensively is better than those 2 Nash MVPs that he won.
I'm not taking a single Nash season over that season, bro. It's just
no, you definitely
like just because he won MVP doesn't mean that the season was better.
I'm gonna admit when I'm wrong. I was dead wrong. You're right about the 2020. Luka's second season was 2019. You're right, 2019, 2020. You're right about that. I'm speaking out of my mouth. That being said, to me, it was honestly the impact that Nash had, which is why I value his MVPs more than other players. But you make a good point. Luka Doncic led the best offensive in NBA history. I tend to forget about that season for the reason the Mavericks were a 7th seed playing the Clippers in the first round, and they took that to 7 games, but it kind of gets lost in Luka's career because more recently we haven't seen him lead an offense at that same height. But I do want to apologize for spreading a little misinformation.
You know, Steve Nash, he was incredible, bro. You can't take nothing away from him. And in terms of like his peak, his decision making was so quick. I really do respect Steve Nash's games a lot, and I feel like him not winning a championship was more due to unfortunate circumstances, like in 2007, the suspension to Amari Stoudemire in the 2nd round against the Spurs, and then you also look at Sarver not wanting to pay Joe Johnson and him going to Atlanta for nothing, and Joe Johnson would have been a huge addition to those teams. Yeah, so he didn't have the best organization to support him in those seasons with the ownership. But I think that right now we're really witnessing 2 of the greatest peaks of all time with point guards, with Shea and with Luka Doncic. And there's a difference between the 2. And the difference is that Shea wasn't this guy early on. Shea, it took him a while to become an elite player. And because of that, he got to an organization that was able to tank for multiple seasons on end, really not tanking that long. It was only like 2 years of tanking. They got Chris Paul. They had a well-built roster around him. They got to tank to get J-Dub and then Chet. And then you're adding all of this talent and these picks around Shea to now build the best roster in the league, where Luka, in his 2nd season, he already led Dallas to the playoffs. Every year, he's overachieving. He's going to the conference finals with Dwight Powell starting at center and Dorian Finney-Smith and Reggie Bullock as his other starters. And Jalen Brunson wasn't Jalen Brunson wasn't the Brunson that we know now. And the Porzingis trade was a flop. And the thing is when you have a star, that performs so early on, you feel the pressure to get him a counterpart. And they did that with Porzingis, but the Porzingis thing never worked out. And then they bled all their assets to really build around Luka. And now Luka, he finally gets a championship roster. He goes to the finals in 2024, and then he gets traded. And now he's in a situation with the Lakers where he's starting all over again. So I don't think that Luka's greatness should be in question because of the team success, because I think Luka is great enough to win a championship. He has just been in an unfortunate situation in Dallas, carrying rosters, and now with the Lakers starting all over again, trying to rebuild a roster in LA.
How far do you think SG is going to build the gap? He already has 2 more MVPs, championship.
The resume is he's gapped them already. Yeah. You got 2 MVPs, you have a championship, you have a Finals MVP. But if you were to tell me, like today, you asked me who I think the better player is Luka. In a playoff series, who would I rather have? It would be Luka. If all things are equal, team, situation, rosters, if it's equal, I would take Luka.
This reminds me of...
So why isn't Luka the best player in the world? Or at least over Shea?
Because Victor Wembanyama's 2-way impact is just
whatever.
incredible.
No, he said over Shea.
Why isn't... Because I think if we did player rankings, you would probably have Shea over Luka. I'm assuming maybe you wouldn't.
They're in the same tier to me. But they'd Shea has the accomplishments. You can't ignore the accomplishments that he has.
Shea doesn't have a blemish like Luka's defense. His defense is a clear weakness for his teams, and they have to structure their lineups with a point of attack defender. And realistically, you can't have a poor defender on the floor at Luka. And that's one of the issues the Lakers have run into. But with Shea, you don't have that issue really at all because Shea's an asset defensively, and that's the difference. And that's what gives him, I think, a little bit more value on top of the fact he's the best overall creator in the NBA.
But is Kyrie a negative defender?
I don't know if negative.
Because he was next to Luka and they made the finals.
I don't think he's negative.
So it says that you can have one maybe bad defender, neutral defender next to Luka. You just can't have multiple of them.
And he also has to be like Kyrie.
But I think that's true for anybody. Yeah. I think with Jokic, you can't have multiple negative defenders. And even with Shea, like Shea is a good defender, but he's surrounded by all-time defenders.
Well, if you want to win a championship, it's going to be hard to have multiple bad defenders in your starting lineup.
Like when Shea is off the floor, OKC's defense is still elite. They're actually better defensively when he's off the floor. Luka Doncic gets dropped into that situation, even if he's on the floor, the defense is going to be elite. Yeah. It don't matter. But he will raise your offense further because of the playmaking gap that
Shea also comes off.
Further?
I think he would because of the playmaking gap that exists between the two. I think
going to make the OKC hit shots?
He'll get them better shots. I think he'll get them better shots. But their shooting is volatile. Yeah, okay. That's the one knock on OKC's roster. But yeah, the gap between both of them as players, I don't think it is large. The resume gap has gotten large because of the situation. But that's why, Luka Doncic, I'm shocked. I'm shocked that we're this deep into his career and he doesn't have more accolades to his name.
He's been with the Lakers for 2 years now, right? And two different owners are like, I'm good. I don't want Luka. Like, damn, it's fucked up, man.
Yeah, this past season, Luka, didn't he lead the league in points and assists?
Yeah.
Or was it Jokic in rebounds and assists?
I don't remember.
I think Luka led the league in points.
Luka definitely led the league in points, and he was second in assists, I believe, or top 3 in assists.
Oh, no, that nigga weird, bro.
He had an incredible season, too, but this past MVP race was definitely stacked. But let's talk about Russell Westbrook for a little bit, because then we got into this all-time peaks conversation. Russell Westbrook has an incredible resume. How will you remember Russell Westbrook's career?
Say what you want to say.
Well,
complicated?
Definitely complicated. One of the most athletic point guards to ever do it. Triple-double king. Good teammate. I think that was one of the things in his career that was kind of, a narrative that wasn't good. His teammates do love him. He's always gotten good praise. Just the fit on the court didn't always work with certain guys, but as a teammate, thought he was dope. He was loyal. Just sometimes in the playoffs, not the guy you need. How will he be remembered? Top 7-8 point guard of all time. I think that's pretty much it, yeah.
I do think it's a bit complicated, not to take anything away from Westbrook. Obviously, great career, first ballot Hall of Famer, like we said. His peak, or maybe like towards the end of his peak, obviously the NBA was just changing. So I think how Westbrook was viewed also changed, right? Like once obviously the Warriors come in, Steph, and a lot of spacing and 3-point shooting becomes very important. I think Westbrook's on the game or career just gets viewed differently because like he was someone who obviously was just getting downhill a lot. But was never a great shooter. So I think people always kind of looked at that and said it's hard to build a team around him. And then on top of that, the Lakers move I felt like was obviously a really poor impact or poor, not decision by him because it wasn't his decision.
Like the icing on the cake.
But it kind of was the icing on the cake that if you did hate Westbrook or you did have questions about Westbrook, he goes and he joins this team that you think is going to be stacked with LeBron. And we saw like it was one of the worst fits we've ever seen. I won't call it a super team, but like at least a LeBron teammate where we had expectations for them. So I'm happy that now that he's retired, he's getting a lot of flowers. It's just funny though, because I do feel like if Westbrook would have went to, whatever, maybe he goes to the Wizards this year and the Wizards make a play-in push and you see him in the playoffs and he has an inefficient night, people are going to go out there and he's going to be shitting on him. I do feel like towards the end of his career, it was more negative than positive around Westbrook. But when you're talking about like when he was at his peak and when he won his MVP and his middle, 2010s-ish era, I mean, there wasn't more than like 5 dudes in the NBA that was more entertaining to watch. And just the highlight reel that he was doing night in, night out, the intensity he played with every single night. Like, that's one thing you have to respect. I think he played 80 games 5+ times throughout his career. Someone who like never missed a game, never had to load manage. That's something that I think you have to look at and just like, tip your cap, because you see so many dudes in the NBA that take nights off, don't do back-to-backs. Westbrook was someone who wanted to be out there every single night, gave it his all every single night. Like Riv mentioned, just there wasn't really a bad teammate or a team that came out and said Russ was a bad teammate. We saw KD had that long lengthy post on Twitter either today or yesterday, just about how much Westbrook meant to him and his career, and just people around the NBA, how they viewed him and his work ethic. So I'm happy that now he's retired, that everyone's giving him his flowers, because it did feel like the later part of his career, maybe like 2020 onward, it was way more negative than positive.
Yeah. No, I mean, his legacy should be clear. One of the most electric players this game's ever seen, an all-time great floor raiser, and one of the most memorable MVP seasons of all time in 2017. When Kevin Durant left and it was Russell Westbrook and a bunch of dudes, he held the floor together for an Oklahoma City team, and that planted the seeds of a soon-to-be championship team. The bummer about all of, I guess, his career and also his timeline, Oklahoma City, is that he never was able to go back and win a championship with them, which I felt like would have been super awesome. I want to see him have his final season back where it all started. But I definitely agree with you in the sense that Russell Westbrook for the longest time was an Iron Man, playing every single game and someone that left it all on the line every single night. And then the narrative at a certain point, and I've been hypercritical of Russ in the past, I'm not going to lie to you and say I haven't, because I have been. The narrative shifted from this is one of the most beloved players in the league to a polarizing figure because of what he wasn't, that people tend to forget what he brought on a night in, night out basis. I thought he had an amazing 18-year career, and when we look at the top 10 point guards list of all time, he should be in it for the peak that he had and also just the consistency. And you look at his later years, like in Washington and Houston, I believe those versions of Russell Westbrook also get forgotten, despite the fact he was really damn good in those years as well. So, yeah, tip of the cap to Russ. And I really do wish he could have ended his final season out in Sacktown, but a legend of the game, and he definitely deserves a lot more flowers.
When a player retires, the point of what everybody should be saying is just honoring the player and what was an amazing career. And I think that sometimes people get too caught up into people and what they've said in the past about a player currently, because it's like Russell Westbrook, much like a lot of players in the league, in moments have deserved criticism. That does not mean that once they retire, that should be at the forefront of the conversation, because you remember the best moments of his career. And I think that Russell Westbrook is going to go down as the most hardworking, all-around point guard ever, who his 2017 season, he made getting a triple-double so normal to the point that basketball fans have become desensitized to triple doubles. When Russell Westbrook was first doing it and did it consistently in 2017, we all thought that it was crazy. Some people questioned if he could even break the record and average a triple double for the entirety of the season. After he did it, now you see players averaging that. Before Russ did it, it was a record that was unbreakable. It was something that if you got a triple double once in a season, that was viewed as very impressive. He has desensitized the basketball community to an achievement that is remarkable. Now we look up at Jokic and he has 25, 12, and 10, and we're like, yeah, that's just another Tuesday. You know, at one point it wasn't that way. It was viewed as something incredible, and Russell Westbrook was the first person who really paved the way and showcased that it can be possible in the modern era. With his transition play, his passing, his elite scoring. I mean, the combination of being able to lead the league in scoring and assists multiple times was remarkable. And I think that Kevin Durant leaving in 2016, it shortened Westbrook's window to win in the playoffs, because OKC was blindsided, of course, and they ended up trading for Paul George. But the other trade was for Carmelo Anthony, and those OKC rosters never felt like they truly meshed. And the one year that they did, Paul George was hurt and Russell Westbrook was also dealing with an injury, and Russell Westbrook's prime started dwindling. He just wasn't the same player. Most of Russell Westbrook at his best was with Kevin Durant when KD was there. And they got close multiple times. They made the NBA Finals as 21 and 22-year-olds. In 2016, they were up 3-1 against the best regular season team of all time.
2014, it was in the WCF too.
Yeah, like one of the biggest what ifs to me will always be Kevin Durant remaining in OKC and James Harden also not getting traded. Having the big three of KD, Harden, and Westbrook, there's no telling me different that they would have won multiple championships as a trio together. But then even in 2016 when Russell Westbrook when KD leaves OKC, if he stays in OKC, I think that OKC would have still had a shot to be an NBA Finals team. So I feel as if like Russell Westbrook, in a way, he was robbed of the later stage of his career being able to compete at a very high level because of that decision. But I mean, it was incredible, and they defined the early 2010s eras for sure.
Absolutely, and even last year in Denver, we saw him make a huge impact in the postseason. I love the point that you made. Russ broke a half-century barrier for these triple-doubles. The first player to do it since Oscar Robertson at such a prolific level. And the one thing that I really want to touch on is the fact that when KD left, it was always made about KD versus Russ and this kind of proverbial friction that they couldn't fit together, when the reality was that Sam Presti failed to build around them. And it wasn't until Kevin Durant left that Sam Presti was finally able to start to build better rosters around them. Because for years, those were rosters with zero floor spacing, no shooting. You had Serge Ibaka, but then after those three, those rosters made zero sense. You had no starting level players next to them. And yet they still beat a 67-win Spurs team in 2016 in 6 games. The fact they won up 3-1 against a team that lost 9 games in a 5-month span is unbelievable. And that shows just how good the two of them were, even though it wasn't a perfect fit. You can't say it was a match made in heaven fit. It wasn't. But the fact that they were so great to be in that crucible, and then you never got to see them running back together after, Russ was hurt after the Pat Beverly, scores table incident. And that was the first time that Russ missed time in his career to, of course, Kevin Durant having his injury in 2000, whatever year it was. They really didn't have enough years together at their prime, together healthy. And at 2016, that was the last moment. And then we never got to see it again. So I feel like when we talk about Russ, that was a big misconception earlier in his career. And that followed him in the years after.
Presti's pretty hilarious to have that lineup and say the last 2 pieces we need are Andre Roberson and Kendrick Perkins. Like that's how we got to round out this lineup. But I sold Westbrook short. He had 7 seasons of 80+ games, an additional 4 of 73+ games. So I mean, it's crazy what he was able to do every single year.
Shout out Westbrook.
The NBA released their opening day schedule.
They did. An interesting schedule.
How are you guys feeling about these matchups? Dell's is about to read off these matchups in a bit.
We got 3 games. I don't think there's ever been, at least that I can remember, 3 games on opening night, especially starting at 3 p.m. Me versus Riv. Celtics at Detroit. You're going to be in Detroit, you told me.
I will be there.
You got an Airbnb
Airbnb is locked.
You got tickets to the game?
I'm going to get them in September.
What are they looking like? How much?
I haven't even checked, honestly.
Okay.
I'm waiting for Paige to get them because she wants to go, and we're going to do like some vlog stuff.
Oh, nice.
So
that's the first game, 3 p.m. Celtics, Pistons. 7 o'clock, Sixers at Knicks. I think that's one everyone's looking forward to. LeBron, obviously. And then close it out, Thunder versus Spurs.
I like it. It's a great night.
Fantastic. And I know people are complaining about the 3 p.m. start, but I'm not mad at it. Because I would be more mad if there was 2 games at 7.
You work from home, though.
Facts.
So
if I was in the office, I'd be tight because I'm like, I need to watch this game.
Well, that's a 12 p.m. start West Coast time.
That is incredibly early. Yeah. But I would rather
get early games regardless, though, because I feel like
they do. But I mean, if a game starts at 3, I mean, a 12 game for them.
I would rather that than them double up because I hate when it's like 2, 7, or 7 and 8 o'clock, and you can't really watch both. You know what I mean?
I'd rather just 2 primetime games. We don't need
a third. We didn't need a third. Because the Celtics Pistons came out after the fact. They first announced the Sixers game and the Spurs game. We're like, oh, perfect. And then it's like, oh, by the way, Boston and Detroit actually playing first. I'm like, that seems random.
And no, the 2 marquee matchups, we know what they are. Spurs and OKC. That's a rematch of the conference finals, and to a lot of people, the 2 best teams in the league right now. And then the Sixers and Knicks, the storyline writes itself. The Knicks are the defending champions, and the Sixers just had the most incredible offseason we've seen by a team in some time, and there's a lot of hype around them, plus the LeBron James factor going to Madison Square Garden. So those games all make sense. There's a lot of hype behind them, and I'm looking forward to it, especially the Philly thing. I think that's what everybody's really eyeing because we've seen OKC, we've seen in San Antonio, but
we know it's
first game of the season, being able to see Philadelphia and how they play together, that is going to be the most interesting storyline of this upcoming season.
What are your predictions?
Central Time is how far behind us?
An hour.
1 hour.
Oh, Central. My fault.
Thank God.
Yeah,
just an hour.
I thought you said Pacific. For a second.
What's your prediction?
Knicks and then OKC.
In Boston?
Yeah.
Nice.
Pistons. Okay. I'm taking all the home teams that night. So Pistons, Knicks, Spurs home. Spurs.
I'd imagine so.
Yeah.
I mean, Pistons could win. I mean, you put a SAR on Tatum.
I mean, we're giving SAR buckets.
Who?
Tatum.
In isolation?
In isolation.
Better call for that screen, little bro.
And fucking in Venus and fucking Africa. Doesn't matter where it is. You're getting buckets.
Africa felt like something. This is very.
Yeah, in Africa is crazy.
Any continent you pick, fucking Antarctica, bro.
I just hope we get all 3 good games. That's all I'm excited for. I do think it's a great card. Adding a 3 p.m. game was odd. They've never done that before.
On a weekday.
Yeah. It is
Tuesday. They've never done that before.
Well, NFL's doing a Wednesday to open the night. I don't know.
You guys are money hungry and greedy, so I get that.
But I do. The NBA is always Tuesday night, isn't it?
Tuesday night, not Tuesday afternoon.
No, yeah, facts. But it's always on a Tuesday for.
Well, I'm gonna be there, fam. Detroit, and if we lose, I'm gonna be sick.
The thing is that when it comes to the NFL, there's no stone that they'll leave unturned. They own Sunday. We know that Sunday is football.
And isn't Friday college?
High school.
Saturday is
High school,
college.
okay.
Friday is college. But as recently, Thursday, not recent. It's been around for us, but really in the 2010s, Thursday night football became popularized, and now Thursday is starting to become a football day.
Facts.
When the college football season is over, the NFL plays on Saturday,
Facts.
and for Black Friday they play on Friday.
They own that too.
And now they're trying
Christmas and Christmas Eve.
Exactly.
And
Monday Night Football, they have Monday. They're trying to experiment with every day in the week and trying to just have football out there. I'm not opposed to it, but the recent thing they've done is that NFL Christmas is now on the horizon, and they've done this for a couple years now, but it feels like this is the year that they're being super intentional about competing with the NBA directly. Because when you look at the NFL Christmas slate, I mean, there are marquee matchups.
Yeah, first game, 1 p.m. Packers at Bears.
Need that.
4:30 Bills at Broncos. 8 o'clock Rams at Seahawks.
That's a loaded slate with contending teams matching up against each other.
That's a good slate to go because usually Christmas, NBA owns Christmas.
And then Christmas Eve, not part of this, but it's Philly versus Houston. Ooh. So, I mean, you're getting like straight back, hopefully all the quarterbacks are healthy. So these are going to be some actually good matchups. But yeah, I mean, I also wonder like what they're going to do once, like obviously Christmas is going to be like on a Tuesday one year. Like, are they going to have a Tuesday game on Christmas? It feels like maybe they just skipped that year or something. But I'm not mad at it. I'm gonna be watching the Celtics and football. That's what my.
It's gonna be a great day. The TV
the
will
NBA,
be on all day.
I believe the NBA has 5 games on Christmas.
Yeah, it's always 5.
Yeah, the Christmas they got. It starts off with Knicks Spurs, which they've done for a couple years now. That's the 12 o'clock.
You play early, right?
Yeah, I feel like they're usually the 12 o'clock.
That's
slot.
a finals rematch.
Yeah, then 2:30 Heat at Boston.
I like that.
5 p.m. Sixers at Lakers. LeBron's return. 8 p.m. is Thunder Minnesota, and then the night game is Nuggets Warriors.
That's an incredible slate. If you could only pick one, which one would you watch?
I'm leaning
Heat Celtics.
I'm talking about between the NBA and NFL slate.
Oh, one game?
If you can only watch one sport for the day. Oh, you can only watch one sport. You have to pick the NBA slate or the NFL slate.
It's the NFL slate.
Well, I have 80 other NBA games, so I'd say NFL.
It's a fair point. I mean, I love basketball more, but it depends on the year in part. We've gotten some banners on NBA Christmas in recent years, and I'm probably going to go with basketball still, but I feel like primetime football generally in the regular seasons is better than primetime basketball in the regular season.
Agreed.
If you could pick one game out of all of these.
Oh, Philly.
No, they play Christmas Eve. I'm just saying Sixers. No.
Same day.
No, Christmas games.
Buffalo?
Bills
Broncos.
Okay.
Knicks Spurs was one of the best final series I've honestly ever seen, and it's so short. I'm gonna take that.
I think sneaky one I want to see. I would pick probably Heat Boston. I would want to see that.
I think Seahawks Rams.
Seahawks Rams.
They just don't miss, man.
Yeah, all the games that they've played have been amazing.
Yeah.
The playoffs and the 2 regular season matchups.
Yeah.
I haven't seen episode 2 yet.
I saw Sam Darnold spiral is the quickest spiral in the NFL.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm really glad Mike McDonald's being featured. I think he has the perfect personality.
Yeah, he's a character, man.
Yeah.
Because you've seen both sides. You've seen him be kind of goofy and awkward in these team meetings, but then you saw this. I didn't see the episode, but I saw the snippet of him on the practice field. I mean, you need a coach that could do both of those.
And now you have Terion Arnold on the team. They just signed him.
Yeah.
He's horrible.
I think that he'll be solid in that system.
I was going to say, just for some depth is fine. But he won't be tasked with being the cornerback one, obviously.
He was more of a zone corner in college, and the Lions play a lot of press man-to-man.
Yeah.
And now he's in a system that I think fits him better. And McDonald also just can make a lot of things work. Yeah,
he's the best defensive coach.
So Arnold, I think if he's decided to sign him, there's something there.
But
had they paused it?
He had a brief hiatus.
I was going to say,
okay.
I mean, he'll probably get suspended. You would imagine. I don't think he's going to be playing.
I have no idea how he got signed with the legal proceedings taking place. But
usually how this works is like
they know better than we do.
Do you know what he did?
Yeah, and I'm not going to repeat it on the air. And also, we have no need to, because you can use Google.
Apparently, what's the guy from Atlanta?
Pierce?
Either Pierce or Walker. I forgot which one.
Walker had the season-ending injury.
Okay, so Pierce, they're preparing for him to miss a good amount of games.
Maybe at least half the season.
Yeah, which is crazy.
Yeah, no, it's bad. But the fact that Atlanta's missing both of their first-round picks from last year is just, I mean, obviously brutal. Pierce is doing some, and Walker, unfortunately, just the injury. But
Sam Darnold, there's something called spin rate.
Yeah.
And it's how fast, when the ball is released out of your hands, it spins. Darnold is number one in the NFL. And Cooper Kupp was talking about it, and he said sometimes, you play with quarterbacks, and you don't want them to throw the ball too hard because it's kind of hard to catch. And then I play with Sam Darnold, and I don't know if I think that anymore, because Darnold throws a tight spiral, but that is perfect for a receiver. It just lands in your hand so softly. Mm-hmm. So it's Darnold, just one of the tightest spirals in the NFL for a Super Bowl winning quarterback, man.
I also saw something about Jalen Hurts and the way he throws the ball, and when he's throwing it, he has like a U shape. Like when he's, I don't know how you even but maybe it's just the way he holds his hand. But the fact that he does it this way, his ball just loses so much, not velocity, but the trajectory of the ball when it's windy, is 3 times as much as the normal quarterback.
Is that why sometimes he throws meatballs?
It could be. Just the way he's holding the ball, it dies in the air more than the average quarterback.
He do be trying to throw it high as hell in the air.
What did you think about Quinyon Mitchell's interception on him?
Thought it was a great play.
Over the middle?
The internet's funny, man.
Third QM jumped
Chelsea
around,
and I were talking about it. I don't know.
I don't understand.
I think it's just because it's Jalen Hurts. Because I've seen Josh Allen get, but I'm did the Bills post it, or was that just seen online?
They posted the defense. It was defense make a play.
I couldn't remember if that was the Bills or if it was just a highlight. But you see other teams posting defensive highlights, which means the offense messed up and threw an interception or whatever it might be. But since it's Jalen Hurts, of course, it's going to be magnified, right? It's Jalen Hurts sucks. But, if Josh Allen does it, nobody cares. It's Josh Allen.
I was fine with it.
Some joint practice clips.
Bleep me out.
You've been cursing for the last 25 minutes. Yeah.
This guy, man. So is the white man.
Yo, you got it.
You thought it would be me.
The first time I did, he should have been yo.
No, because you went on it was a consistent F. And I'm just all right.
Bro, we've been cursing on this podcast for 5 years, and all of a sudden I got to stop. It's going to take me a couple episodes.
Rudy, right now, you're going to cut off anything that Dell says where he curses, and we'll have a little game. For each curse word that you have to cut off for the remainder of this podcast, they owe you $5.
just bleep it out. Just had a quick bleep.
So let's count how many Dells have. Maybe he owes you $20 right now.
It's way more than 20, bro. I ain't gonna lie. It's $50.
How did you guys let me go on that long?
I'm just you know what?
I don't know if
start
it's 50. We'll see.
It was a good amount, bro. You said the F word 5 times.
Damn.
It's all right, though. Yeah, that video was funny. Yo, bro, all we do is complain. That's all we do, complain.
That's what the world is these days, bro.
I know. Listen, when I seen it, I said, let's go, QM. Let's go. What am I supposed to say? Oh, don't post my defense making plays. It's too solid to the ball.
Honestly, I think what was worse was when Vic Fangio said, we've been beating the offense ever since I've been here. That feels worse than the Quinyon.
And I love that he said that.
Yeah, it's hilarious.
Talk your stuff, bro. We've been frying them up.
But I think that was worse because even though it's true, I don't know if I want I want one of my coaches being we basically dominate the offense every single year.
He's very transparent.
He is. And I get it. He's been in the league for
that should tell you, offense,
years.
Tighten up. It's been 3 years.
That should tell you that, thank goodness the Eagles have such a great defense, because usually the Eagles offense isn't playing a defense that good, but then fans like to showboat and act as if the offense is actually going up against elite level defenses and giving Hurts all the credit. We know that highlight told me everything I needed to know about Hurts. He's gonna have a bad season this year.
Oh, it's over.
Yeah,
okay.
It's over. I mean, what's your feel on the Eagles, John? You
got to plant a flag on one side because you're masquerading as like a Hurts defender earlier last year, and you know it.
He's just a baiter.
I just troll. Everybody knows where I stand.
What's my feel on Hurts this year? It depends on Sean Mannion. However, well, he can orchestrate the offense. In part, is finding a way for Hurts to step outside his comfort zone, and I do have my reservations because we have to see a first-time play caller really design the offense around Hurts well, but I do expect the entire offense to be a lot better.
We run Pennsylvania.
Last year, 6 rings, buddy. We had another example of such a poor offensive design. I think it's bound to get better. And then on top of that, too, I do have a lot of faith in Saquon having a better year coming off of a disappointing season, but just having fresher legs. And of course, to the offensive line, it's going to be like the biggest determining factor, whether or not that can get back to like a really high end level unit. If they're banged up again and not truly that version of themselves that we saw in 2024, the Eagles offense can be firmly middle of the pack or maybe a step below that. But if they can get it back to that elite level, I mean, the Eagles should be an elite offense. And one would hope as long as everyone else is healthy.
Are you going to buy in more if Dontavian Wicks wins the wide receiver 2 job? Because he looks like he's the favorite right now.
No, I mean, I know Wicks is good. It's no surprise there.
I know, but to be the true 2 and like get that consistent opportunity, that could be big for him.
I think Wicks will be good. I think he'll have a good year. I just am looking forward to the games where Hurts throws for 110 yards and
who do you play?
They win 17 to 10.
We want nothing. Will be.
And the fans are like, "Well, did you see the first down Hurts threw?
We got a sneaky schedule though in the beginning, I believe.
Washington week 1's a nice little warm up.
Yeah, the real question is Jalen Hurts pass over like 3,200 yards this year?
I mean, 32 what?
3,200 yards.
Like, no, like 32 what though? Like passing, because you know he's going to get 10 rushing.
Oh, that's the only thing he can. Yeah, passing.
Well, 10 rushing touchdowns doesn't impact his passing.
Well, no, he said just 30 touchdowns.
No, I said 3,200 passing yards. I thought.
Yeah, that's what I said.
You said the passing yards?
Yes.
Oh, pardon me. I said touchdowns.
I would say over.
What's been his passing yards the last couple of years?
I feel like he had more. He might have been around that last year. He was just at 32. Previous year he was at 29, but did he get hurt in 24?
That was Super Bowl year. I mean, he won. That doesn't matter.
Yeah, 103 quarterback rating that year. 23, 3,800, 22, 3,700.
Yo, our season doesn't start until September 28th.
What game is it?
September
Chicago.
28th. Yeah,
because we played Commanders and Titans first 2 weeks.
Okay.
And then we have Bears, Rams, Jaguars, Panthers, Cowboys. That's when our season starts.
Okay. Listen, the fact that you get week 1 against Washington, you know,
I don't care who we play.
No, valid. But I'm saying for the offense,
I want the Rams week 1
to build some momentum. I don't know. Okay. Aaron Donald, Myles Garrett.
Let's get this out the way.
Okay.
Like,
you don't want the offense to get some confidence under the belt. Be like, yo, let's get a few weeks. Let's play Washington. Let's play Tennessee. Let's get some confidence and momentum.
Yes and no. I feel like you should get your confidence when you play our defense.
No, yeah, but if they struggle all the time, like Vic Fangio said, it's hard to build confidence because you're going up against one of the best defenses in football every day.
But then you should feel like it should be like, all right, we're going up here. We feel confident we can beat this defense. No, we're losing every day in practice.
That's what I'm saying.
But if we're struggling here, but we're, at least having that confidence out here, when we see the Commanders, this should be like, oh,
it
wait.
Should be, yeah.
Like, this is light work and cheese. This is butter and biscuits,
But it's been difficult.
God willing.
Butter and biscuits.
Devontae Smith has been hurt. Mekhi Lemon has been hurt, too.
He's like wide receiver 4. Darius Cooper might take a spot.
Hypothetically, the 2 top receivers on the team that should have been, Devontae Smith we know is number 1. They're not healthy, so it's going to make it tougher for the offense to play well against that defense.
You saw Lemon was, I don't want to say coaching, but was on the sideline with Hollywood Brown and showing him like go like this.
Yeah, seen that.
Makai's the technician, bro.
Makai's real. I love Makai.
Get healthy.
I wanted the Steelers to draft him
because he has a long injury history.
He's not healthy. But if he is able to get right, he should have a.
Bro, he hasn't
practiced
practiced much. Like,
no,
damn near at all.
It's bad.
Yeah.
But shout out to Darius Cooper and Wicks.
Yeah. I know it's been solid.
Now he's a Wicks fan.
I have to be.
He has to be.
He's on my team.
My goodness.
People
switch up so fast.
Yeah, he's on my team.
He's not better than Isaiah Williams.
Okay.
Wide receiver 2 this year. Or 3. 80 Mitchell's 2.
Hey, as long as he catches the ball this year, we're green.
He gets open.
Who was the most impressive player at Jets training camp?
I don't know. They didn't do enough to be impressed by anybody.
The David Bailey hype's getting pretty nuts.
Yeah, he was good, but there was the field. There was the main field on the left, and that's where the offense practiced. And then the field to the side of defense was there. So where the fans were sitting, you only got to see the offense unless you were like trying to look at this side of the field and have binoculars to look all the way over there. but nobody really stood out. Like I thought the practice was very vanilla. They weren't really doing much. There really wasn't anything to really ride home about on the practice, and I think that goes for both sides. Like I know Geno Smith had a bad day the day that I went, but really there wasn't much that simulated a game situation, so it's not much to take away from it. I mean, Geno Smith maybe in the totality of the practice had like 11 pass attempts. I mean, that's nothing. That's nothing to like really gauge anything, and that's 11 reps, and there's nothing to really take away from that at all.
Okay.
That's pretty sweet that Andrew went.
Florham Park?
Yeah.
Did they practice?
It's in the Florham Park, yeah.
Yeah.
I met DeMar Davis. I met Thomas Hennessy.
Okay.
He's
long time long snapper.
Yeah, he is. I told him.
He's from the area.
Yeah, I told him. I was like, you're the best long snapper in the league.
Yeah.
And he was like, I
he went
appreciate
to
it,
Bosco,
dog.
pretty sure.
So
how'd you know it's Tom? Because if I saw his face, I would not know who he is.
Oh, I easily know who he is.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know more than me.
It was simple. And he wore number 48. Like I knew that was
How
Thomas
much money
Hennessy.
would a team have to offer you to be like, yo, come be a kicker for us?
A kicker?
Not much.
Not much at all.
And you just go do it, even if you ask. Like you just go
Like if I'm bad, well then I would just rob them.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm not hitting more than like 10 yards, bro.
Okay.
Not doing much.
They might release you then, but like you the opportunity, like yo, come.
Like it's a much lower number, like $100,000, and I'm there.
Yeah.
Okay.
$20,000.
I'm thinking like I'm thinking 60. I'm great. Like just give me 60 one time.
You gotta think. I go to one practice, they're gonna cut me. So whatever you're worth for one day,
well they'll give you the week. They'll be like, yo, come train. We'll see how you do. Game time come. 40-yard field goal. We need 3. Can you
40-yard field goal.
Yeah, can you do it?
No way in hell.
Yeah, man, that's crazy.
Rivet won a media row.
I did.
I don't know if it was 40
did.
or 30 something.
Might have been 35.
I was impressed.
You had 35?
Yeah, bro.
Wait, when was this?
It was at media row.
Oh, right. Yeah, I was there.
Me and
I
Drew went
recorded
down
it.
there.
Yeah, I remember
Drew
that.
did not hit that.
No, Drew wasn't close, actually.
He's supposed to be the kicker, being as if.
He's never been a big soccer,
He's a baseball guy.
Exactly,
True,
yeah.
true. He is the opposite.
Have you ever played soccer? I'm assuming not, right?
Nah, no way in hell.
No way in hell.
So that's just natural.
Yeah, no, just all you do is line it up, kick it.
That was a fun day.
Yeah, he kicked it this way. No, I actually don't think it went in the air.
Did you attempt a kick, John?
Did not.
I didn't either. I recorded them.
It's a shame, John. That fits your,
Come on, you need to attempt
Brandon
a kick.
Aubrey.
Kind of look like him.
Chris Boswell.
Chris Bos.
Talk, bro.
Forgot to mention my Steelers playing right now in preseason. Jeremy Bernard.
He's the
Is
man.
this your first non-winning season now that Mike Tomlin's gone?
I'm pretty optimistic, despite how pessimistic. When we hired Mike McCarthy, I need to understand. I literally,
You almost killed you.
I was gone for like a full weekend. Like no one was gonna hear from me. I needed time to just not think about football.
Okay.
Given where I was at in February when we hired McCarthy, I was away and just was so detached to where I'm at right now, where I'm pretty optimistic we'll be just as good as last year. If Rodgers gets hurt, we're absolutely winning 5 or 6 games. But if he can give us 15 games and he's what he was last year, which was highs and lows with his wrist injury, there's about 3 or 4 games he really played poorly in, but the rest of the year he was pretty solid. I feel our defense should be better this year. Terrell Austin coming in. He's a better defensive coordinator. Or sorry, Patrick Graham coming and replace Terrell Austin. I believe that's such a meaningful upgrade for us because he's able to get more out of talent. Like a lot of the teams that he's had have not had a lot of talent, whether it's in Vegas or New York. And the other thing too is that the offense just has more playmakers. So I think Mike McCarthy gets a lot of shade, but at this level of talent, we've seen him have a lot of success in Dallas. So I'm optimistic.
So is that what you want though? You want to win 9 games?
It wasn't what I want, but whether or not I want it or not, it doesn't matter because Art Rooney II decided he was going to hire Mike McCarthy.
There was just such a runway. I was thinking that we were driving over
I
here.
would have loved to have had a good owner that would have just spent the bag on Clint Kubiak. I would have hired Mike Dable, maybe Brian Dable over him. Sorry, I can't even speak. There were a lot of other younger offensive minds who would have been like, you know what, they can develop a quarterback and they'll be here for the long run. Whereas McCarthy, he's 60 some odd years old, he's not going to be here for the long haul.
Was it a money issue?
Yeah, I mean, the Steelers were not going to open up a blank check for a premier, like a Ben Johnson last offseason being available. Like, there's so many great coaches, so many great offensive minds who would have been perfect for Pittsburgh. So it is a little bit deflating to hire Mike McCarthy on kind of his last coaching gig. But at the same time, I'm just optimistic the defense will be better. I'm excited for this football season. And like I mentioned before the show, I'm excited to go to a game this year in Pittsburgh for the first time.
Which one are you going to?
We're going to Steelers-Ravens at home.
Doesn't get better than that, man. AFC North football.
It's December 19th or 20th.
So cold.
They play Lamar well.
They do play
Last
Lamar
time
well.
I went was one of the greatest weekends of my life when we played.
Second best team in Pennsylvania.
Let's go, Johnny boy. Got a Hall of Fame quarterback representing his franchise right now. Let's get it.
You guys had such a runway just to reset everything. Tomlin's gone. Let's move off Rodgers. Let's trade Watt. Let's just start over. And they're like
loser mentality.
Ownership's one of the big. No, ownership is the biggest competitive advantage in sports, and it's one of the biggest reasons that the Steelers are stuck right where they're at right now.
Yeah, it's a shame because there was a runway. It would have been so easy. You could have convinced you could have convinced me 4 years ago you should have done this, but hey, whatever.
Rodgers is 40 years old. I would not be surprised if he misses part of the season.
It's last year.
If that is the case, I hope he's healthy. But if he misses time, I don't know how we're winning games.
No, of course.
Drew Alar.
Will Howard.
He is a redshirt.
Mason Rudolph seems to be
near the field.
The first.
They need to put Drew Aller on a 2-year developmental plan. He should not play until
he's
year
still
2 or 3.
really young. He's like 21, 22 years old.
But I don't have as much confidence. The Mason magic that he had in 2023 has not been replicated since then. Whether it's in Tennessee or
Mason magic.
Honestly, I'd rather see Will Howard.
Yo, John, I'm digging this fit you got on right now.
Thank you, Brody.
It's very
you're looking sharp.
Got the little button up down. You can see.
Looking like somebody sitting in the corner of a coffee shop doing work.
You look like Nathan Drake. You ever played Uncharted?
Uncharted.
Oh.
You're giving that vibe.
Okay. Is he handsome?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
It's pretty cool.
Can't ask for much more than that.
That's what I'd be saying, bro.
Did Nathan Drake wear that type of clothes?
Tom Holland does.
Did Nathan Drake wear the type of clothes?
When he had to go be like a worker? Yeah. But yeah, no, you're giving Tom Holland vibes for sure right now.
Shout out to Spider-Man.
You look a little bit like Tom Holland.
Nice.
John.
Appreciate it. I'll take that as a compliment.
Yeah, he's a good looking guy.
We're into the show almost. So we're going to get into the AFC West division preview with the first team up. And we're going to do this in the order of the way the teams finished in the division this past season. The first team up, the Denver Broncos, previewing their 2026 season. Will Jalen Waddle be the missing piece for this team? They were a game away from the Super Bowl. Their starting quarterback did not play in that matchup. And now you're bringing back the same roster, but you're adding in Jalen Waddle. And another big change is that Sean Payne will not be calling the plays. It will be going to Davis Webb, and he will be calling the plays this year. Do you think that this is the season that the Broncos can get over the hump? And will Jalen Waddle help them do that?
I think me being the honorary Denver guy here, I'll go first.
You hate Bo Nix, though.
What?
You hate Bo Nix?
Nah, I wouldn't say hate.
Oof. I have some texts that say otherwise.
They went. I want to say this is the right number. They went 10-1 last year in one-score games, or it was.
I think 11-2.
Yeah, it was something like that. I saw the Chiefs do that one year where they went undefeated in one-score games, or it was like they lost like one game. Yeah,
Yep.
and then the year after that, it completely flipped to the opposite side. They end up losing most of those games. So you got to look at Denver, and you got to think, well, you can't win all those games again. So how far down the line are you going to just lose those, or it goes 50-50? And then your schedule becomes much, much harder, being as if you have a first-place schedule. Denver has a pretty disgusting schedule. But I will say this. You bring back your offensive line. Your offensive line is one of the better units in football. Cortland Sutton had a really good year last year. You bring in Jalen Waddle, who at his best, when he is healthy, he's one of the best speedsters in the league, one of the best deep threats in football. Bo Nix loves to throw the deep ball. I think your running back room is going to continue to improve. J.K. Dobbins is there. For me, the offense is going to be about how much Bo Nix can uplift. I know the training wheels continue to come off more and more every year, and I think this year they're really going to try to unleash Bo Nix. How is he going to perform in those big games? I think that's super important. My one gripe with Denver is I really don't like their corners outside of PS2. Like, I'm not the biggest fan of their corner. Riley Moss and all those other guys. I feel like if you could just find gaps in their defense, it would be whoever PS2 is not guarding. You can always figure out a way to get your top corner off somebody. And I think kind of NBA like mismatch hunting. I think you can find a way for that with their corners. But their linebackers is decent. Their front four is dope. They have Zach Allen and all them boys, Nick Bonito and stuff. I think Denver's team is great. I think they have a lot of talent on their roster. I think their schedule is super tough. For me, it's going to be about how far does that 10-1, 11-2 record in, one-score games, how far is that going to drop as opposed to, what it was prior? Because you're not going to do it again. I think that's just, that's blind thinking anything that's going to happen. But, they're a good enough team to where I can still see them be pretty high.
Yeah, that's been the main talking point around Denver is the one-score games. And I think it's valid. You know, like you mentioned, the Chiefs in 2023, or excuse me, in 2024, they won 11 one-score games. They won 1 in 2025. We saw the Vikings do it the year, you know, a couple years prior, where the year they lost to the Giants, where they were exceptional one-score games. And it's just something that doesn't repeat throughout NFL history. The Denver Post actually did a study on it because that was one of like the talking points around the team. There's been 30 other NFL teams in the past decade that had a similar profile to the 25 Broncos. That being 12 regular season wins, at least 5 one-score wins, and a 70% win rate in those one-score wins. The following year, that drops to 49%. So there's a pretty large sample that shows that this does come back down to the mean. I think if you're the other argument for if you're a Denver fan is just some of these one-score games where you probably shouldn't have been, right? Like the Giants game where you were down like 20 points in the fourth quarter. Can Jalen Waddle unlock your offense even more and you become a more explosive offense that maybe you're not playing as many one-score games, right? Maybe you end up winning that game by 10 points because Jalen Waddle is able to rip off a 30-yard touchdown when it would have been Marvin Mims playing in a spot or Troy Franklin playing in a spot. But I still think we're like a year away from Denver having to get over the hump, right? It feels like they're progressing as they should, right? Your first year with Bo Nix, you get to the playoffs, which is, you know, far past expectations than we had that year. Then this past year, you end up getting to the AFC Championship game, probably go to the Super Bowl if Bo Nix doesn't get healthy. So Jalen Waddle just adds to what they have right now. I think there's pressure under Denver because you do win 14 games with the number 1 seed. Like, of course, you're, you know, one of the best teams in football, so there's going to be some natural pressure there. But I'm not looking at it like some other teams. Like, I still think Baltimore has more pressure. I still think Buffalo has more pressure because you are a team that has been so close so many years in a row, and your quarterback is getting older, and it's like, when's it finally going to happen? That this Jalen Waddle trade felt like, you know, early year when Stephon Diggs comes over, you know, or when A.J. Brown goes to the Eagles with Jalen Hurts. It still feels like Denver is still pretty early in their cycle, but Jalen Waddle helps become a more explosive offense. Since 2022, Waddle has a 25% explosive reception rate. 70% of his receptions have gone for first downs and touchdowns. Denver last year was just 24th in explosive play rate, you know, and a lot of that comes from the offense they run. Sean Payton now is a different play caller, and we've heard Davis Webb is going to be a bit more explosive, you know, throw the ball down the field, because Denver was 3rd in screen rate last year. Miami was 2nd. We know Jalen Waddle, that's something he can do and he excels at, but he's also someone that can obviously win all 3 areas of the field, right? He's someone that has good hands. He could fight through contact. His only, I think, downside is just the injuries he comes with. And it's not injuries to the point where he misses games, because he plays like at least 15 games every single year. It's just very often, it feels like half the games, he's going in questionable, he's going in banged up, or he ends up getting hurt in the first quarter and comes back in the third and isn't himself. That's really been the only gripe about Jalen Waddle, right? Other than that, he's been amazing, right? He set the rookie record for receptions his first season. Him and Tyreek Hill, we saw one of the most explosive offenses with Mike McDaniel. We know how good Jalen Waddle is. It really just is, if he's able to, you know, consistently stay on the field and play to the level we're expecting to. But this is a roster that's bringing basically everybody back. You know, I mean, the only big move they made was bringing in Jalen Waddle, but on both sides of the ball, you're not really looking. I guess you lost a couple pieces on defense, right? Hufanga moves on, JFM moves on, but at least offensively, the offensive line is going to be ranked as number 1 or number 2, no matter what site you're looking at. Even though Sean Payton's not the play caller, he's still going to be like the mastermind of this offense. So you feel really confident in terms of the structure that you have going on. And I like the Jonah Coleman pickup at running back. So if J.K. Dobbins does go on, I think you have a more traditional between the tackles runner, and R.J. Harvey could be more of that pass catcher, third down role. So I think this offense is going to improve than what we saw last year. And Vance Joseph with this defense has been multiple years in a row. It's going to be one of the probably 5 best units in football. So there's going to be some variance with the one-score games. Maybe they don't win the division, right? Maybe they don't win 14 games. But I think you could go into the playoffs feeling just as good as last year, if not better, if Waddle's able to open up this offense like I'm expecting.
Yeah, I mean, Waddle completes the receiver room. For years, the Broncos have had Courtland Sutton and then a committee of guys. One week it might be Troy Franklin, next it's Marvin Mims. At some points last year, it's Pat Bryant when he was healthy. But now you aggregate all those kind of weekly blow-up games from one of those guys into Jalen Waddle week in and week out. He should get back to 1,000 yards this year. I know it's been 3 years, 2.5 since the last time he was really at that level, but it's the best quarterback play he's going to have. It's going to be the best offense he's been in since 2023, 2024. And I'm also a big optimist in just this run game when not only J.K. Dobbins is healthy, but having R.J. Harvey go in a year 2. They have all of the right complementary pieces, but I'm just optimistic in the fact that you have, and Joel actually said this at one point, I think it's a good point, one of the best receiver duos in football who complement each other's skill sets so well. It's not like you have a top 5 or top 10 receiver necessarily, but you don't always need that when both your receivers have complete skill sets that blend in well with one another. So for Bo Nix to be going a year 3 in his rookie deal, like you said, there's not a whole lot of pressure on him because of the fact you have another 2 years, 2.5 years in this cost-controlled contract. And in that time, you're setting him up with really the ideal complementary supporting cast in the pass game and then a good run game as well. So I'm super optimistic for the offense. Really, the biggest question, I guess, with Denver would be maybe some parts of the defense, like cornerback, too. I know Riv mentioned it briefly, but even still, they are, to me, the best team in the AFC. And I'm optimistic that with Bo Nix healthy in the postseason, they can get back to the Super Bowl. But I guess to add one more point, you do want to see Bo Nix come off this ankle surgery himself. And I think that's not something we should completely gloss over until he is back in what he was at previously before the AC Championship.
Pat Bryant's getting a lot of buzz, too. He's been having a really good camp. I'm excited for what he could do.
This season is simple. I mean, it's about Bo Nix proving that he's a quarterback worth a second contract. That's what it's about. There's no doubt that he is worthy of paying. It's just about the numerical value on it, if he's worthy of getting franchise money. You mentioned the inherent pressure that exists within Buffalo and Baltimore. The thing is that when it comes to them, even if they don't get it done, you know that quarterback is figured out for them. Mm-hmm. With the Broncos, Bo Nix has performed well, but he hasn't performed well enough to where you can comfortably say you can pay him for the next 5 years and be comfortable with him being the quarterback of your team for the next 5. The training wheels have been on him, and you can argue it's because of the personnel, whatever the case may be. When you look at this past season in 2025, the numbers, Bo Nix was 26 out of 29 quarterbacks in yards per attempt at 6.4, in large part due to the screen-heavy offense. The drop-back success rate was 25th in the NFL, and that was with ranking 8th in pass block win rate. They had a great offensive line, yet their passing offense on a down-and-down basis was one of the worst in the NFL, and the Broncos offense was 24th in air yards per attempt. Bo Nix, 24th out of 36 quarterbacks in air yards per attempt, 29th out of 36 quarterbacks in target percentage behind the line of scrimmage, 30th out of 36 quarterbacks in yards per completion, and 32nd out of 36 quarterbacks in deep target rate. This was a very passive offense that leaned on its defense heavily and its screen game to manipulate points. And I think that a big part of the Broncos being down in these games is because of their slow starts. It's a very easy to scheme for game plan that I think also hurt Bo Nix a lot because it's very predictable. It gets you behind the sticks. When you're running 2 screenplays to start a drive and none of them work, and it's 3rd and 9, you're not putting your quarterback in a good position to succeed. So maybe the shift going from Sean Payne to Davis Webb will now open up the offense in a way that we haven't seen opened up before. Even with being passive, the offense had its good traits because playing that way led to the lowest sack percentage in football, the lowest fumble percentage in football, the 14th lowest interception percentage, and they won 14 games. So clearly, playing methodical on offense, leaning on their defense, led to a lot of success, but I don't think that that's a sustainable way to win year in and year out. You need to be able to lean on your quarterback more. And I think Jalen Waddle coming in will give us more answers because now it's like the 2 previous years you can point to the receiving talent, the drops, all those things, they're holding Knicks back. Now with Jalen Waddle added to this receiving room, the excuse is gone. You got him a weapon. You got an elite offensive line. You have a play caller who clearly Sean Payne is high on. So now you need to be a more efficient quarterback. You need to have a passer rating better than 87. It needs to be better. You need to be better from quarters 1 to 3. And I think if you see those signs out of Bo Nix and you see this offense more aggressive, a lot of questions will be answered. I mean, this team has the number 1 hardest schedule in the first 6 weeks. So we're going to see who the Broncos are very early on in the season. They play the Chiefs, the Jaguars, the Rams, the Niners, the Chargers, and the Seahawks. After this stretch, they have the easiest schedule in the NFL. those games will tell us a lot about who the 2026 Broncos will be, how they'll look. You mentioned their defense. It's not only the corners next to Surtain, because Riley Moss and McMillan are fine. You're worried right now if you're a Broncos fan if you completely botched the Jahdae Barron pick, because he's not even starting right now, and his best position is in the nickel, and Jaquan McMillan just got paid. So you might have just butchered that pick. But the linebacking room is also pretty horrible. It was in a bad spot even when they signed Drake Greenlaw. Drake Greenlaw wasn't the answer, and now it's an even worse spot. And I think Justin Strnad has done a fine job, but clearly the defense, its strength is its front four, and you have Passer 10, and you have some good safety play. But your linebackers, your other corners opposite of Surtain, those aren't necessarily strengths, and it was a big reason why, even despite turning the ball over 5 times in a playoff game, the Bills were still able to rein in over 30 points on you and have a total of 400-plus yards in that game. So even with all these turnovers, the defense was Swiss cheese, and the Bills don't got an elite receiving weapon at all.
No, sorry, you had more to say?
Yeah, so that's why I feel like the Broncos defense, every year when you rank towards the top of the league in defense, you risk regression because of players leaving. John Franklin Myers just left this offseason. That was a huge player on their defensive line. So you have to take advantage of these elite defenses while they're here. Mm-hmm. Like we saw with the Jets, obviously not the same as the Broncos, but the Jets in the years before Rodgers got to the team, they were an elite defense. Rodgers gets there. The first year that he's there, he gets hurt. It was an elite defense once again. And the very next year, they fell off and they were one of the worst. Yeah. So these defenses can fall off fast. Mm-hmm. And that's why you have to take advantage of it. So that I do think there's a lot of pressure. And there's a lot of pressure this year on the Broncos coaching staff to make Nick's more of a priority and to lean into what he does well and to also just take the training wheels off. Because a counterpoint that a lot of Broncos fans would use is that, well, we've seen that when we're down in games and Bo Nix has to pass the ball to bring us back in games, he does come back in the fourth quarter. He's one of the most efficient quarterbacks in the fourth quarter. So clearly, when the Broncos' backs were against the wall and they needed their quarterback to play well, he did. But it's just about, can we do that to begin the game instead of just waiting until the end to get that sort of offensive production?
More sustainability, I get it.
I will say the beginning schedule, while it's tough, outside of the Rams and Seahawks, you're not playing like top defenses, right? Like I think when you're looking at the Jags, the Niners, the Chiefs, was there someone else in here? We'll see what the Chargers are without Jesse Minter. That maybe is more of a toss-up, but they should still be a good defense. At least you're not going up against like 6 straight like top 10 defenses out of the gate. Obviously, the Rams and Seahawks are going to be really tough, but we'll see. The Chiefs, obviously, a lot of turnover there, especially in the secondary room. The Jaguars, the 49ers, I think that's defenses that Bo Nix be able to have some success against.
That Jaguars offense is going to be special.
The Jags offense would be great. But yeah, in terms of Bo Nix, I think he should have some success. A couple counterpoints. If you do, I know it's so early for Bo Nix to be talking about, I wouldn't say, because he's extension eligible next year, but who's the other option, right? Like, if you are saying, I don't want to pay Bo Nix $40 million, are you going to trade him and go get like Baker Mayfield? Like, who's the realistic option to move up Bo Nix? I don't think the Broncos, barring Bo Nix either regressing or injury, whatever it might be, it feels like I'm pretty confident at minimum he gets obviously the 5th option picked up. Maybe it's a franchise tag, so he's there for 6 years. And some of the numbers, it is difficult because it's a team that is either throwing to the line of scrimmage or throwing it down the field, right? Like this isn't a team, because we have talked about how Bo Nix, was one of the league leaders in terms of deep pass attempts, 20 plus yards down the field. But then they're also second in terms of screen rate. So throughout the last couple of years, it's been an offense that is attacking you in the short game, and they haven't really had the weapons to do it. Like Marvin Mims and Troy Franklin are these explosive guys, but obviously Jalen Waller 10 times the player that they are, or they're taking these shots down the field. Who I think Cortland Sutton is like a guy that can win these 50-50 balls, and they can win just these one-on-one matchups with DBs. But still, it's not exactly the prototypical weapons room you want to be. That be your offense, where it's like at the line of scrimmage and deep shots. But if you get Pat Bryant to emerge, who, down the stretch last year really looked like someone that could potentially be like a wide receiver 2 for this team, and who knows what the real upside is. If you're able to get Pat Bryant to continue what he's doing in training camp, which I've seen some reports, people think that he could overtake Cortland Sutton. If you have a Waddle, Sutton, Pat Bryant room with the offensive line play caller, and running back room is probably the weakest out of the group, but still I think a passable unit at very least, it's one of the best situations for a quarterback to be in. So it is going to be very telling this year about what Bo Nix can be, because I think we feel great about basically everything else, right? There is some chance for regression, of course. There is some chance for injury. I think the offensive line too. That's units that you see throughout the NFL that one injury could really mess things up. We saw with Philly last year. Lane Johnson goes down. So there's all these things that have gone, I don't want to say right, but the last couple of years, the Broncos have been one of the best defenses, one of the healthiest on the offensive line, have said some of the best talent. So if some of that stuff either regresses or you have a couple of injuries go here and there, it is going to be on Bo Nix. It's going to be on him to uplift. It's going to be on him to have some more on his plate. But I also don't want them to lead the league in pass attempts. Like, I don't think you should have one of the best defenses in football, one of the best offensive lines in football. And although Bo Nix, I think, has been fine, he's not a quarterback that I don't think you should be putting that much on his plate where he's number one in pass attempts. The other argument is just J.K. Dobbins goes down last year, so now Margot's on R.J. Harvey, and you weren't really expecting to use him that way his rookie year. So the passing game just became an extension of the run game with some of the screens they were doing and stuff. So I think Jonah Coleman is some insurance for that, because he is someone that could, take on more of a load than R.J. Harvey can. But overall, I think the pass attempts should be coming down, but the overall passing efficiency should be going up.
Right. Well, that's the only thing with their team. It's just they need to get a good running back. J.K. Dobbins is good, but he's not.
He had
he's not the most reliable because of injuries, but he's been more than
he's been efficient.
He's been good for them, and Baltimore too. In the time that he was, yes, especially for running backs. And running back is a year-to-year position where things change rapidly. I believe that Jalen Waddle is really going to supplement that lack of passing volume over the middle. And then if you also get Pat Bryant to take that step forward in year two, that's where you see this Broncos pass game really become complete and well-rounded. And that would be the next step for Bo Nix. So I definitely am looking forward to seeing how well they're able to implement Jalen Waddle beyond just peppering him with designed targets at the line of scrimmage. I want to see them really amplify what he does over the middle.
Yeah, and even if there's not a better option or there's not an alternative, it doesn't mean that it's the correct decision to pay somebody.
Yeah.
Because if you pay somebody, that essentially limits your entire ceiling. Because now, your star defensive player, you might not be able to keep. Your other corner opposite of Surtain, you might not be able to keep. Once you pay a quarterback that much money, you have to make really strenuous roster decisions. And that's where it becomes tricky. It becomes tricky building around somebody making that much money. So I think this year is going to answer, well, it's not going to answer things. Well, it can, but I think this year is the year where he has to really prove himself that he is the leader of the offense. Because I think after your third year, we should have a pretty clear understanding of who you are as a quarterback. And if we don't, then it gets tricky. Like CJ Stroud just finished his third year, and there's questions around him. And we don't know if the Texans are committed to him long term. After that third season and how that third season ends, then it really becomes like, okay, you're now on the magnifying glass is on you, waiting to see what you're going to do.
His was like ass backwards. He started off great, and then
who would you rather have going forward, CJ Stroud or Bo Nix?
I think it's hard to go against Bo Nix at this point. I mean, CJ Stroud just had 10 turnover-worthy plays in a 2-game span.
She was nasty.
I don't know. Some regression.
I don't know.
You can say you're a CJ Stroud guy. I don't want to.
No, but
I don't think it's. I don't think
this is me being like unbiased. Like I genuinely don't know.
CJ's had so much going for him, despite the offensive line being such a project the last 2 years. Like you had one of the best defenses of the last 20 years. You have Nico Collins when healthy, a top 10 receiver definitively. This year, you add in these pieces of the offensive line. You hope it can just get to a stable floor, and David Montgomery can be a more reliable back. In which case, CJ should have a bounce back year, but it's just the fact he's been what's held back this really good roster and this sensational defense that all you have to do is score 19 points a game to win. Like in the postseason, all you have to do is not turn over the ball 5 times. 1 or 2 turnovers, we're straight. So it's really hard for me. We have to see CJ Stroud just have a complete rewind of what he was in his first year. We have 2 years now of him just regressing. So I'm definitely going Bo Nix going forward. Why?
Because you completely just put it all on him as if the offensive line hasn't been horrible.
And play
for he's not an insane mobile quarterback. And his play caller was literally terrible.
He's been
so
destructive.
Well, do you think Bo Nix would have been better in Houston than CJ Stroud? That's the better question.
I mean, it's tough to say no because of the turnovers. I mean, it's impossible to really thrive in that situation.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact he was so destructive.
No, last year, yes.
Like a lot of the fumbles were avoidable.
Bo just has more mobility too.
And the decisions too. I do believe he's gonna be better than what he was, and especially in the postseason. I expect CJ Stroud to take some level of a step closer to what he was. But it's really just the level of turnovers and those high. I mean, they've won a playoff game every year of his career, but it's been in spite of him. And like the Steeler game, well, the last year, I mean,
they won the first playoff game because of him. I would say it was a combination. I mean,
it was
the two playoff games we saw.
It was one run that was really bad. It was last year. It was really bad. So I don't listen. I ain't mad at you. Like it was bad, genuinely. But I think his regression, offensive line also never getting better.
Situation.
Yeah. So,
but he has one of the best defenses the last 20 years.
That has nothing to do with him as a player going into the field, though.
You just have to score 17 points.
You just have to mark Sanchez it, man.
You're getting so many.
Yeah, I'm with you.
The field position you're getting. I mean, the amount of pressure on you shifts when you have a unit like that can quickly get you right back on the field after the immediate throwing out. That's giving you better field position. That's consistently creating turnovers. That's wrecking havoc. That's giving them momentum.
Usually you have a run game, too. They had Woody Marks last year.
They didn't have a run game at all. With Joe Mixon, they did, right?
You're just saying the defense is supposed to just
even still, he wasn't efficient.
Ignore everything that he doesn't have.
He was really good for them. Really tail off in the second half. You're just hoping that the offense line can make the 20th ranked unit.
Yeah, 18th. I mean, no run game, no O-line.
In which case, Dale Montgomery, we haven't seen him as a lead back in a long time, but he should just be more reliable than what Woody Marks was, which was 3.6 yards a carry, basically, not finishing a single game. So
they should be better this year. I think they built a good offensive infrastructure. The next team up in the AFC West, the LA Chargers. They lost Jesse Minter to Baltimore, who's now their head coach, and he was an excellent defensive coordinator for them. But they brought in Mike McDaniel, which is, I mean, it's something to be very optimistic about if you're a Chargers fan, because now Herbert goes from Greg Roman, the Joe Lombardis of the world, to his first elite OC since Shane Steichen. And the last time he had an OC like Shane Steichen, he was one of them dudes.
Yep.
So now you have Mike McDaniel as your OC.
Fire.
You have Lad McConkey. You have Quentin Johnson. You have Trey Harris. You have Gadsden. They signed David Njoku.
Charlie Kohler's getting a lot of buzz.
Yeah, they have Charlie Kohler. They have three nice tight ends. They have Amarian Hampton. They have Vidal. They have Keaton Mitchell. They brought in Alec Ingold. I mean, it's a clear shift in philosophy for how this team wants to play. You signed Tyler Beatrice at center, and the offensive line should be healthy now. I mean, this could be the year that people have been waiting for Herbert. And how do you feel about this upcoming season with Mike McDaniel now being the offensive play caller?
This is a perfect evolution for a Chargers team that we've seen really be defensively focused over the last couple of years with Jesse Minter. And like you kind of briefly touched on, it's going to be somewhat of a change of the guard because you don't know necessarily defensively if you're going to have that same ceiling. But with that, it creates this opportunity where, for one, getting Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater back this year, you have a much more formidable offensive line. And that, first and foremost, elevates Justin Herbert because when he has that pass protection, we've seen him throw for 5,000 yards and we've watched the ceiling. And then you stack that on top of one of the best overall offensive minds in football who, as a head coach, was let go, but as an offensive mind, as an offensive coordinator, can immediately elevate this passing game. And where his background was as a run game coordinator with the 49ers. It wasn't even the pass game. So I'm super excited to see Amarian Hampton and Kamani Vidal. You have that explosive element of Mitchell all getting the work. And there was a quote I'm going to read in a moment for McDaniel is basically saying, we're going to utilize all three of them, but I'm also optimistic for Lad McConkey this year. And I really want to plant my flag on Lad having this bounce back year because of the fact you have McDaniel who can kind of scheme up these early opportunities on first and second down, but also towards the line of scrimmage where I feel like Lad's going to be a lot more involved. And you're just going to get a better version of Justin Herbert, I believe, between the pass protection and the passing. The pass design is being much better. We saw in a small little glimpse, not even a small glimpse, just how much of a difference it made when the Ravens brought in Tom Monken to replace Greg Roman. He is one of the more archaic pass game designers. So between those two things and just a healthier unit, I'm expecting this passing game to be a lot better this year. And I think it is perfect to get all of this at the same time. The offensive coordinator, the offensive line getting healthy, these younger emerging second-year and third-year receivers. You have QJ on a contract year. And above all of that, the defense, which was top 5, lose the defensive mind. But if that's no longer what's riding your team, if that's actually the supporting unit of the ball, I mean, it gets a lot more exciting to talk about what the ceiling could be for the Chargers.
If Jesse Minter stayed, I think Super Bowl talks are like, we could have him. You know what I mean? Like, you could talk yourself into it because you are having inarguably, the biggest coordinator change or coordinator upgrade when it comes to Greg Roman to Mike McDaniel. I mean, shout out to Greg Roman. I think his days are maybe behind him in the NFL. Like John mentioned, what we saw in Baltimore after he left, and I'm sure we'll see a big difference in what Justin Herbert looks like after Greg Roman, moves on. it really comes down to me. I feel so confident about the offense. Like, I really have no questions. I know we haven't seen Mike McDaniel with Herbert, and I know the offensive line has questions, but I feel so comfortable what this offense is going to be. Justin Herbert is a top 5 talent-wise quarterback. I know the numbers haven't been there the last few years. Top 10 for sure in terms of everything, but talent-wise, top 5, and maybe, who knows, maybe he's even closer to top 3. In terms of arm talent, he's one of the best we've ever seen. He is mobile. He's big. He can play through injury. Like, we know who Justin Herbert is. He just hasn't had, number one, the stats in recent years to back it up, and then, of course, the playoffs, right? We've talked about it ad nauseum in terms of how much Justin Herbert has struggled in the playoffs. I'm still to believe that Justin Herbert's one of the best quarterbacks in the world. And if he gets into the playoffs, I think over time he's going to show that he is one of the best quarterbacks in the world. He's going to play well in the playoffs. I have no worries about that with Justin Herbert. I think my biggest question, it still relies on the defense, because before Jesse Minter gets there, it's one of the worst units in football. You know, not Brandon Staley. Yeah, Brandon Staley, the previous head coach, supposed to be a defensive minded guru. Far from it. They were the 30th ranked defense in terms of yards allowed and points allowed the previous 3 years before Jesse Minter gets there. Jesse Minter's 2 years as defensive coordinator, they were 3rd in points allowed, 2nd in QBR allowed, 7th in yards per play, top 5 in interceptions, top 5 in red zone defense. He turned it around overnight, and they're bringing in, or not bringing in, but they're promoting Chris O'Leary, who's going to be running some of the same stuff. But you just always worry, right? Like, you always worry when you move on from one of the best defensive minds in the sport, in my opinion, Jesse Minter, to someone who, sure, like, he knows his scheme, right? He knows what he's doing. You have, you know, for more or less the same supporting cast that's there in terms of the roster. But you do worry, like, what does this defense come from, right? Like, does this go from a borderline top 5 unit? Does it stay top 10? If it's still a top 10 unit, we could talk about this team potentially win the division. But does it fall off like we saw what happened with Baltimore when Mike McDaniel left, right? Like, does really fall off and you're outside the top 15 and you're not even a unit that's really respected and teams are able to do whatever they want against you? That's my biggest question. In terms of Mike McDaniel, I think the number one thing he gives you is just safety. Because the biggest question offensively is going to be about the health of the offensive line. Can the tackles stay healthy more than anything else? From 2022 to 2025, the Dolphins offense posted the fastest average time to throw and the second lowest QB pressure rate. We know some of that is Tua and just how he wants to run the system. Some of that is also the offensive line just wasn't good, right? There was multiple years, basically all those years from 22 to 25, where they did not have either a healthy offensive line or a good offensive line. Mike McDaniel was able to scheme around that. On the other hand, Greg Roman and the Chargers had the 6th highest pressure rate and 5th longest average time to throw over the last 2 years. So when this offensive line wasn't good or it wasn't healthy, Greg Roman didn't really have any solution to it. And Justin Herbert isn't complete to blame, right? I'm sure you could, pick 30 different plays and be like, he could have took it here, 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 and here. But systematically and schematically, this was not something that Greg Roman was focused on. I do think he is, I don't want to disrespect him, but I do think he's one of the worst offensive play callers in the sport. I do think there's a reason why he left Baltimore and Lamar Jackson, we saw the best season he ever had. I do think there's a reason why he's going to leave and Justin Herbert's going to have probably the best season he's had. No, he didn't. It doesn't matter. He was MVP.
No, I was just asking.
And he's going to have one of the best seasons he's ever had in his career. Now, Mike McDaniel is one of the best in the world, so that's obviously a big step up. But I think McDaniel brings some security that if the offensive line does get banged up, I don't think it's, oh my God, we're screwed. I think he's proven multiple years in Miami that we could have a bad offensive line and we could still have one of the best offenses in football. And that doesn't even bring to account what Hampton could be for this offense. I think he's in the small sample size we saw last year when he was healthy before the ankle history. He was awesome. Yeah. When he came back from the ankle injury, he just wasn't the same player. Didn't have that same type of explosiveness, that same type of like twitchiness that he had, the first month of the season. But I think Hampton, I wouldn't be surprised at the end of the year we're looking at him as like a borderline top 10 back. He's that type of talent. So I'm really high on what this offense can be. For me, it just comes down to the defense. Is Chris O'Leary, how much of a downgrade is it from Jesse Minter? Because if he gets a head coaching job in 2 years, because he's one of the best defensive minds too, then I think this can be one of the best teams in football.
You're giving me the vibe that this is your AFC West pick.
It's a coin flip, man.
I don't think that
Broncos and Chargers.
Oh, not Chiefs?
No.
I don't think for a team like the Chargers, the Jesse Minter thing will be that massive because the offense was so terrible that you really just need an offensive mind in there that is able to win shootouts with an elite quarterback. That is really it. And plus, the Chargers defense was really good and they were disciplined, but I felt like in matchups against elite offenses, they did not perform.
I don't think when you talk about them, because they were like a top 5 defense in terms of EPA per play around that. But when you look at their talent on defense compared to Houston, compared to Denver, compared to whatever, just there's a pretty big, like Derwin James, one of the best safeties in football. I think Khalil Mack still got some edge. Sharif still, like, there's still some things there, but talent wise, it's a pretty big drop off from the top defense in the league.
It depends on how you view the talent on the Chargers. You know, I think that Tarheeb still is one of the better corners in the league. I think good, Cam Hart is good. I think Dante Jackson's been underrated. I think Don Henley's one of the best inside linebackers. I think Khalil Mack is still amazing. They got Olway, and he played at a very high level. He got a $100 million contract.
Also, Olway was on Baltimore, wasn't doing anything. He goes to Jesse Minter in the scheme, and all of a sudden gets $100 million.
No, for sure.
You could argue a lot of these players are like the third stringers.
But like Houston's just a different level of defense. But
Philly too.
Tulito Pelotu, he was one of the league's sack leaders this past season. And then they just drafted Akeem Messidor. You know, so I don't think that their talent was bad. And obviously, you have one of the best safeties in the league in Derwin James. So I don't think the talent was bad. But like anytime they matched up against an elite offense, they didn't have answers. Like the Jaguars beat them 35-6. The Jaguars completely stomped them. And the problem with that game is it's the defense, but it's also the fact that your offense cannot move the ball because of last year's situation.
But then, from my understanding, the Jaguars lit up Denver defense too.
Yeah, they did.
So is it they can't stop anymore? Or just the Jaguars offense was, you know.
My whole point is that Jesse Minter being an elite defensive mind is important, yes, because it did help the Chargers win some games later in the season, like against the Eagles.
Yeah.
But like performing elite defensively against the Eagles isn't that impressive, especially last year, because they didn't play well against any defense.
He really shit the bed.
Like,
just couldn't get
the defense gave you a nice floor. But in terms of like the defense going above and beyond and actually shutting down offenses, you didn't really get that. Even in the first year, like the primetime game against Joe Burrow and the Bengals, like
they held Dallas to 17. They didn't really play a lot of top tier offenses this past year.
The schedule to me is a big reason why, like, I just feel like it didn't showcase the Chargers like defense being this top tier elite team. Like Jesse Minter is going to be missed for sure, but I think they have the talent to still be a good defense. I don't think they're going to be a top 10 defense, but this definitely will not be one of the worst defenses in the league. And Chris O'Leary, you look at his resume, in 2025, he was a defensive coordinator for Western Michigan. And amongst teams in the FBS, they ranked 9th in scoring defense, they ranked 5th in sacks, they ranked 13th in red zone defense, and they ranked 12th in third down conversion rate. You might say, well, Western Michigan plays a different level of talent than all the other top schools. The year before he got there, these were the same rankings. They were 107th in scoring defense. So they went from 107th to 9th. They were 108th in sacks. They went from 108th to 5th. They were 120th in red zone defense. They went from 120th to 13th. They were 96th in third down conversion rate. They went from that to 12th. So this was a defensive coordinator that completely turned around a defense at the college level, and he's a young, bright mind now coming to the Chargers. To me, the defense, even if it falls off and it's like maybe the 15th or 16th rank unit, because I don't think that you can have it falling off any further than that, the offense is always going to be what's going to raise the ceiling of this team and the floor. Being able to have a quarterback that can consistently put up 30 points a game is what's going to also now help your defense, because now you're milking out more time off the clock. You have longer possessions. You have longer drives. You're able to throw the ball. You're able to run the ball. That's what I think helps more than anything else, because last year they were just so one-dimensional. So even if the defense regresses, I think that the offense being so great will make up for any regression that can happen with the defense, because this offense, 23rd in rushing EPA, 25th in rushing success rate. The offense was 20th in points but 12th in yards. So they just weren't able to capitalize. And Herbert was hit 206 times last season. That was 13 times per game. So like now getting a coordinator that emphasizes getting the ball out quick. Now you protect Herbert, who emphasizes using the playmakers. Now, I mean, what you said I think is perfect. I think Ladd McConkey is the easy shoe-in for bounce back season, like without a doubt. He was amazing. And then Keenan Allen in his second year, Keenan Allen went to the Chargers last year and he played a similar role, and he took a lot of the target share away, and Lamb McConkey was kind of used more like as a sacrificial lamb, but they couldn't run deep routes. They couldn't run intermediate routes because the offensive line couldn't hold up. So now you have a full route tree at your disposal. My only concern with the Chargers really is the offensive line, because Rashawn Slater, his knee, he had a flare up not too long ago, which he categorized as not serious, but he said that recently that the last time he got into his stance, or this offseason, he got into his stance, and it was the first time that he got into his offensive line stance without feeling pain since 2022.
It's big. Which
means that he has been playing hurt for the last couple of years, and you just don't know how long a guy like that is going to last. When he is a pillar of the offensive line, because if he gets hurt, Joe Alt could play left tackle, but now you have Trey Pipkins playing a right tackle, and now your offensive line falls off once again. When I look at this offensive line, I look at Slater, Strange, Biadish, Abusika, and Alt. One injury to Slater or Alt can literally demolish this offensive line and how they perform. This was an offensive line that was 32nd in pass block win rate and 31st in run block win rate. And even though Mike McDaniel has worked miracles with terrible offensive lines before, that is just something that's going to hold them back if they cannot stay healthy. And Rashawn Slater, I don't know if at this point in time he's going to be ready for week one. His knee flared up, and he said it's not serious, but sometimes players just say that even if it is serious, they're still going to downplay it. So him not being like, I'm not totally sure on where he's at, is just my concern with this Chargers team, because the way the season has been ending for them the last 2 years has been, you get into the playoffs after a long 17-game season, and their offensive line against the Texans, it was healthy, and they lost 2 years ago, and they just got demolished. And then this past season, the offensive line was terrible, and it was injured. The last 2 years, you've lost because of your offensive line, because Herbert has not had the time to throw and make any reads at all. So if that can very well become an issue again, because I think the Chargers have been very complacent in addressing their offensive line problem. Yeah. Like banking in on Rashawn Slater to be healthy after the injury he had last year was an injury that a lot of offensive linemen don't come back from and are good after that. Like, it was just very risky. And they made no marquee addition in the interior of the offensive line. Like, your big addition was Tyler Biadish, who's at best, he's an average like center. He's a good starting center, but like, that is your third best guy on the offensive line. You're kind of running into some problems. So to me, I just feel like the Chargers, that's going to be their biggest detriment, the offensive line and how healthy it can stay. Because if one of them goes down, Slater or all, they're going to be in trouble.
They really just need competent interior offensive line play, but I think you make a very valid point. It's great to get Rashawn Slater back, but in what capacity? Because a ruptured patellar tendon is such a significant injury, especially for offensive linemen playing at that weight, that we tend to think like, all right, like it was a year ago, he had this injury, he'll be back 100%.
Yeah.
But the reports at the time were he might not come back the same player. To me, it's like, all right, Rashawn Slater at 75, 80% is still a massive upgrade off what they've had previously. But what percent of him pre-injury are we getting? Because Justin Herbert affects everything in offensive line. And you see this with so many different teams. Justin Herbert is a quarterback who can play through it, but he's clearly not the same version of himself, clearly not nearly as comfortable in the pocket, doesn't have the same level of composure when he has a level of pressure. But when you're able to give him time, he's a different level of a passer. And I look at this Chargers team, and every year we can talk about the defense, the DC, the weapons. It all comes back to the same thing. When you get to the playoffs, what are we getting out of Justin Herbert? Because so far we have seen historically poor quarterback play in the postseason. And if the offense line's not healthy, it's not going to change.
And that's going to super matter, because I was looking at their schedule, and it's not easy. I mean,
they have a tough schedule.
Weeks 3 to like 13 for real. You really need to be on your A game. And you talked a lot about Slater, and excuse me, Slater and Alt feel like the better tackling duos in football, like outside of maybe like Phillies with Ballada and Lane, but they're right up there with them. They're so elite, and they really hold it together. We saw last year with Justin Herbert. He played with it. Rib injuries, wrist injuries, finger injury, anything you can think of, because he was constantly hit. I remember that Eagles game so vividly because we hit him maybe 21, 22 times. He had to run for his life to continue to extend plays, get that offense going. If that offensive line is not there, I don't know how they make it out this stretch. I mean, week 3 is Buffalo. You got Seattle, Denver, Chiefs, bye, Rams, Texans, Ravens, Jets, Patriots, Bucks, and then you see the Raiders. So, like, you don't get a soft week until, and I'll give you guys your respect, the Jets, little tough, sneaky game, but you don't get a real soft week until you play the Raiders and your bye. So, like, if your offensive line is not going to be healthy, if it's going to be Slater with the knee flare up, all getting hurt, some potentially happening because this Chargers team always deals with a ton of injuries, I think it's going to be really tough. But I do think Mike McDaniel, I want him in Philly. Like, I think his coaching isn't the greatest at decision-making, clock management, stuff like that. But as an offensive play caller, he really had Tua making people believe he was a top 5 quarterback in football. And if you can do that, and if you can have that type of power, man, what are you going to do with Justin Herbert?
These are reports this is just from Daniel Popper. This was August 4th. Rashawn Slater just went to the medical tent with the trainer after the first period of 11-on-11. 2 days ago, from Alex Insdorf, who covers the Chargers, he said that the Chargers left tackle Rashawn Slater says he does not have a date on when he returned to practice just yet.
Not great.
So this is if you can rely on him, I think Joe Alt will be fine. But he moves to left tackle. Now you have one of the worst right tackle play in football. So to me, that is going to make or break this team. And I'm baffled at the lack of assets that they use to address their offensive line after what was one of the most disastrous offensive line seasons that we've seen. Like, I get them getting Akeem Messidor in the first round to bolster up their edge rushing group after losing Owe and having Mack, Pelotu, and then a Messidor, but not using a first-round pick on a marquee offensive lineman, I just felt like you just wasted a resource in a way because your biggest asset is your quarterback, and you're not doing the most you can every offseason to protect them because their GM, I mean, they had in the offseason, they had like $100 million in cap, and they didn't sign any marquee guy. They could have went and signed Tyler Linderbaum if they wanted, but their GM, more so, he wanted to get the comp picks. If you let Owe sign $100 million in Washington, you get a 3rd-round pick next year. But if you sign Linderbaum and let Owe walk, you don't get that 3rd-round pick next year. So he is stacking up on these comp picks by letting these players walk. But your need is right now. Your need is in the offensive line right now. Like, who cares about that 3rd-round pick when you have a quarterback getting hit 200 times a season?
I do think McDaniel, and I just want to, I said Chris O'Leary got promoted. He was with the Chargers in 24, then he went to Western Michigan. But I do think McDaniel at least gives you a floor.
He does.
Like, I don't think, even if Slater isn't healthy and he misses the whole season, which I don't think is going to happen, at least McDaniel has shown that in Miami, he can make it work with the bad offensive line. And listen, this Chargers offensive line would be pretty terrible if you're able to, at least if you're able to keep Alt healthy, because the fact that both of them went down last year is just brutal. If you have Alt there and Biadasz, at least you have something there. Again, it's going to be one of the bottom 5 units in football, but McDaniel at least gives you some confidence that he can run an offense that is quick hitting, that gets the ball out fast, that doesn't have these longer developing routes. Because although Miami, of course, had, like, you think of those plays where Tyreek is 40 yards down the field and Tua hits him, a lot of it's like a lot of broken coverage stuff where McDaniel's just drawing up these plays where guys get wide open and they get naked and Tua is able to hit them. But it was still an offense that was fast paced, right? Like, you're getting the ball out quick. You're getting to these guys that have this blazing fast speed. So I think that gives you some, at least, breathing room if some injuries happen. Yeah. Because you should have still invested in the offensive line, because you shouldn't have to put all this on Mike McDaniel and be like, yo, just figure this out. Like, we know you could do it, just do it. Like, you should at least have some protection there, because it is on Herbert at the end of the day, right? You don't, just like the Broncos are doing, just like a lot of teams are seeing, whether it's the Bears, whether it's Philly, like, you want to give your quarterback the least amount of excuses possible. And it's not that the Chargers will ever move off Justin Herbert or anything, but you want to be able to go into the playoffs. And listen, if you're the owner, if you're the GM, I know it's social media, but, like, I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear people, poo-pooing on my quarterback, saying how terrible he is, saying that he'll never win a playoff game, this, and this, even if it's all social media and sports talk, whatever it might be. You want to be going into every year being like, there's no excuse for him. Like, we gave him everything. We gave him the line. We gave him the play caller. He's got the weapons. He's got the running back. Like, that's what we've seen all of these other teams do to a lot of success. When you're talking about Philly winning the bowl, Broncos going to the AFC Championship game, the Bears win a playoff game. They all invest in the offensive line. They invest in the play caller. They invest in the weapons around them. So they're doing some of that. Like, I think the weapons room is pretty underrated because I think
Yeah.
QJ has turned into not who we were expecting, but like a real
Solid
X
player,
wide
yeah.
receiver who I think can win on the outside. Lada thinks a solid wide receiver. The running back room. And you have 3 tight ends. This is going to be a team that's going to be playing a lot of heavy personnel. You're going to have Njoku and Gadsden and Kohler out there. So it's going to be a lot different than we've seen in years past.
You guys hit the nail on the head there. McDaniel supplements the offensive line in the event of things going wrong because of the extra personnel. And that's definitely going to be something which can kind of circumvent that issue to a degree.
The next team up, the Kansas City Chiefs, who are looking to bounce back this upcoming season after missing the playoffs, after previously being in the last 3 Super Bowls. They had it down here.
Their last
they lost a lot of one-score games. They lost every one-score game that they had. And really, it's about, can the Chiefs get back to being, once again, a division winner, a playoff team, a true contender? And to me, I just see a hard time believing that they can't. I mean, the Chiefs had one down year. I don't think that one down year automatically defines a team, especially when you've had consistent success for years and years on end. I look at 2022 in the year that they led the NFL in points and in yards. The offensive personnel that year isn't better than this year's offensive personnel, especially when you add in Kenneth Walker. I think the biggest deterrent from last year's team was really the lack of explosive runs. They were 24th in runs of 10-plus yards. And I think that not having a run game put a lot of pressure on Patrick Mahomes, who led the team in rushing before he got hurt. He led the team in explosive yards. There is a misconception about last year's Chiefs that they're just this garbage team and they just were like completely incompetent, in which I don't think was the case. I mean, when you look at the Chiefs' numbers from this past season, the defense was 6th in points allowed. They were 10th in yards allowed. Their pass rush was disappointing, but in the games that Mahomes played, the offense was 4th in EPA per play. So it was pretty much a top 10 defense, and it was a top 5 offense when Mahomes was healthy. The only bad thing about the defense is that on third down, they couldn't get off the field. They had one of the worst third down stop rates in the NFL. But all in all, this team was a good team. They just had bad stretches on third downs, but they played well. And if you look at all the numbers from 2025 compared to 2024, they were better. They were a more efficient team. And one team went 15-2 and the other team missed the playoffs. So I don't think the gap between them and the Chargers and the Broncos is far off and they can't win the division. I think that's blasphemous. When you have Patrick Mahomes and you have clearly the best quarterback in the world and you just got him a running back who, Kenneth Walker, in zone concepts, averaged 5 yards per carry. The Chiefs run zone concepts and zone blocking schemes at the 4th highest rate in the NFL. Kenneth Walker is highly successful under center, 42% success rate, 4.8 yards per carry. The Chiefs ranked 29th in under center rush attempts because they didn't have a running back that could strive in those areas. And then the Chiefs also faced the 4th worst rate of 7+ man boxes, which means that the Chiefs faced a lot of light boxes, and Kenneth Walker's going from a team in Seattle that faced one of the most heavy boxes in the league to now facing light boxes. And he forced a missed tackle on 30.2% of his touches in 2025, which was the 3rd highest rate in the NFL. I look at the complement of a running game, the first time in Patrick Mahomes' career, and now Mahomes doesn't have to do as much. I look at that as being the ultimate addition any team could have made for their quarterback this offseason, getting him a legit running game. It takes so much pressure off a pass-catching group that is kind of subpar. And I think the emergence of Cyrus Allen is going to be a really big deal this upcoming season because he is somebody that can win in man-to-man coverage. Rashid Rice is more of a gadget player, in my opinion. They have enough to have an elite offense once again. And Bieniemy, I know Ben Johnson is going to get the majority of the credit in Chicago in the turnaround, in which he should. The Bears jumped from 25th in runs of 10-plus yards to 3rd. From 2024 to 2025, Bieniemy was the running backs coach, the Bears. In 2022, with Bieniemy as OC, the Chiefs led the NFL in yards per play under center. In Mahomes' career splits under center, he has a 117.2 passer rating, 8.6 touchdowns to 1 interception ratio. And in shotgun, it's a 3-to-1 touchdown interception ratio and a 99.8 passer rating. So he's elite regardless of how you play, but the Chiefs now getting back to playing more under center the last time they played this much under center, they were the number one offense in the NFL, number one in yards and points, with Bieniemy being the OC. I think Bieniemy being the OC in place of Matt Nagy changes everything from the install, from the details, from the discipline, how the players cover their assignments. It's going to be one of the best offenses in the NFL. And we have seen before that even if you get an average Chiefs defense, Mahomes can still win Super Bowls with that. I just have a tough time seeing how they don't bounce back, and I have a tough time seeing how they don't win the division. I think that this is the Chiefs' year where they're going to be back on top in this division, and Mahomes is going to have one of the best seasons of his career.
It is exciting to see what they add in this all season, and I do believe that you hit a very good point. In the moments where we've seen the Chiefs running backs blow up, whether it was Williams in their 2019 Super Bowl run, Pacheco in 2022 in his rookie year, or the 4 games of Clyde Edwards-Helaire, we've seen how much pressure that takes off of Patrick Mahomes, and this is the time when you need that the absolute most. Because he's coming back off a torn ACL and LCL, and is returning for week 1 after a 9-month recovery. So the first couple months of the season, you're going to lean that run game more than ever before. The offensive line's in a good position when you look at Josh Allen's left tackle. The questions I have are at left guard and right tackle. And I believe those can be 2 big limitations which hold back the run game from being a elite level unit, is maybe something closer to an asset. The other thing for the Chiefs, which I like a lot, is the amount of additions they made on the defensive line. Whereas Tonga or Peter Woods in the draft, they invested heavily into that. And if you're able to stop the run at a higher level and you're able to get that balanced tackle offensively, they should have a higher floor than what they did last year. My one reservation is just the fact in the pass game, you have a lot of different players who you're hoping can cobble together a high enough floor. And to me, I'm looking at Rashee Rice, a bunch of gadget players, Travis Kelce, a year older, and no one that I can really rely on consistently in a playoff setting against some of these higher level offenses. They clearly lack that explosive element, I feel, that consistent week in, week out performer in the pass game. And that's why I believe holds back their true ceiling from getting to a maybe Super Bowl this year. But at the same time, I think they have added a lot this offseason. This year for the Chiefs to bounce back, and I do believe in it. You can't never doubt Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes. It's a
can't doubt 15.
Historically, it's a bet you don't want to make.
Did you,
can't date PM
you
15,
have them winning
man.
division?
I do not.
The receiving core is lackluster.
It's not good.
The receiving core was lackluster in 2022. It was worse. It was worse
And you said 20 what?
in 2022. And
Kelce
they won a
was-
Super
but
Bowl.
Kelce was so much
He was better.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
now Rashee Rice is better right now than any receiver they had on that roster.
Yeah,
That's
but
still
you
hard.
always
He
said
did have
he's-
5K
you hate
yards.
Rashee Rice, let's be honest.
Receiver 1.
I don't hate Rashee Rice. I'm just honest
I know,
about
I'm
his
trolling.
game. He's a sideline to sideline player.
I think
He's not a vertical threat.
I think they did have a really good offense last year when Mahomes was healthy. Their best offense was also Mahomes running the ball. Like that was when the very rare explosive plays we saw from this team, especially in the run game, it was all on Patrick Mahomes. And I just don't know, 1, how sustainable that is, and 2, how much we're going to see that from him this year, first year back.
He don't
want to
run as much. He said that.
He shouldn't
He
be having to
shouldn't,
run this
honestly.
much. And Kenneth Walker obviously is a big reason why, right? You go out, Super Bowl MVP, you pay him all this money, you give him this guaranteed money. It's with Kenneth Walker, especially early in the year, like John was mentioning, when Mahomes is getting his way back, find his footing. I mean, in training camp and stuff, he's out there running, he's going crazy, but it's obviously different when you can't get hit versus when anyone could come and put their shoulder down and just light you up whenever. You mentioned some of the explosive rushing. If you go over the last 2 years, it's even worse. In terms of 12-plus yard rushes, the Chiefs have 20, fewest in the NFL. No team had fewer than 33 outside of them. Walker last year alone had 22 explosive running plays. So although Walker, in terms of like total stats, has never, he doesn't have a 1,300-yard season, of a 12-touchdown season, whatever it might be, but he's always been one of the more efficient backs. And the last couple of years, of course, Sharps comes in and he's been taking some of that workload. But Kenneth Walker is going to be the guy, right? Like, I don't think he's coming off the field for, whatever running back they have. Not Brandon Smith. I can't think of the guy's name. But regardless. Rashard Smith. Thank you. There's no running back there that is going to be, supplanting Kenneth Walker. I do worry still about just if this offense, in terms of the passing offense, it's going to be any different than we've seen the last couple of years. And that's just an offense that doesn't really create explosives. In 28 to 22, they were top 5 multiple times in terms of 20-plus yard completions. They were top 10 every year but once. In 23, they had just 18 completions, which is 22nd in the NFL. In 24, they had just 12 completions. That was third in the NFL. This past year, ironically, where Mahomes misses whatever the last month, they had 21 completions of 20-plus yards, which was about league average. So we did see it bounce back a little bit last year. But like we're talking about, when you look at the weapons room, there's nothing that happened that makes you think that that's going to improve, right? Like I do think the Chiefs offense will be one of the top 10 offenses in football, but it does feel like we're not going to see that like 2018 to 22 version where it's like this explosive offense. You're getting all these these highly explosive plays because obviously you have Tyreek Hill, and it's one of the most explosive players in NFL history. I don't have a full, one of my favorite podcasts, The Athletic Football Show, and they do the show called Half-Baked Takes, which it's not a take that you're 100% certain on, but just like kind of more of a vibe thing. My vibe is Andy Reid washed? Like, are we entering like the old Belichick years of Andy Reid, where I think he's still one of the better play callers, but like he's obviously not Kyle Shanahan. I don't think he's Ben Johnson. Like there's definitely a tier of play callers that he is just not in anymore, that 5 years ago he is comfortably in whatever, top 1, probably top 2. So a lot of it does go on Eric Bieniemy, right? Like where Eric Bieniemy is, because we did see when he left and Matt Nagy turned over, it was a lot different than what we saw. But we also saw Eric Bieniemy wasn't like a hot commodity ever, right? Like there's been so many years, and we talked about on the podcast, like why doesn't Bieniemy get a shot at head coach? He gets these interviews, but he doesn't get it. He goes to Washington for a year, then ends up going to college. He was with Chicago last year. So even though I do think it's a good sign that they move on from Nagy and go to Bieniemy, I'm still just a little uncertain because it's not like anyone saw what the Chiefs were doing and thought, oh, Bieniemy, I want to say the main reason, but it's like a huge reason why. I know Mahomes likes him. I know he's getting a lot of buzz out of camp, but I don't know. I just don't know if like the play calling and the design and the creativeness of this offense is what it used to be, or compared to this, the best offense in football, not on a Ben Johnson or Kyle Shanahan level. And maybe it's unfair to compare it to that, but just when you're talking about this offense and what it can be, I don't know if we're going to get that explosive element back. I think what you have to be really excited about if you're a Chiefs fan is the interior of this defensive line. Peter Woods is having an awesome training camp. Peter Woods probably would have been like a top 10 draft pick if he didn't have a down year his final year at Clemson. Of course, you still have Chris Jones there. And we've seen over the last, 3 years, interior defensive line, like that's what's really been changing the NFL, whether it's Leonard Williams and Byron Murphy. The Eagles got like 4 of them, it feels like, but Carter, Ojomo, Jordan Davis, like the interior has become just so important. You see how much money these guys are getting, what Quentin Williams was able to do for Dallas. So although their edge room, I think, is questionable outside of Karlaftis, and he's still, kind of just like a league average type dude, the interior should be really good. Like it could be one of the best interiors in the NFL. And I know you moved off both your starting corners in Watson and McDuffie, but Noah Williams is really good last year. And then you selected Delane with the top 10 pick. So that safety,
they grabbed Snead up again too, right?
That corner duo you should feel pretty confident about. So I don't know if I see like the real upside with the Chiefs this year. I don't see like Super Bowl in their potential. Like maybe Mahomes proves me wrong and he comes back and he's Mahomes. He's the best quarterback in football again. But I still think there's just questions with this team. I think there's still questions about the edge room. There's questions about the pass rush. There's questions about the overall talent of the offense. There's some questions about the offensive line. Good, I don't know. There's just too many questions for them compared to some of the other contenders in the NFL.
At the end of the day, they don't got any more questions than any of the other top teams in the AFC that got elite quarterbacks. Like if we're looking at the most complete teams in the AFC, we're looking at the Broncos. They have a complete team, but you have a question sometimes with Bo Nix. And we're looking at the Patriots, who they're shaping out to be one of the most complete teams in football because they got May on a rookie deal and they got A.J. Brown. So I think those are the 2 most talented rosters in the AFC. Then you got to throw in the Texans in there because of that elite defense. But, looking at Buffalo, you don't know what version of DJ Moore you're going to get. You don't know what version of that defense you're going to get. And then with Baltimore, that offensive line was a weak point of theirs, and they didn't do much to improve that. They might have gotten worse.
But they lost Linderbaum.
Yeah, they might have gotten worse.
I picked up the Browns center.
But and then their receiving core, it's only Zay Flowers, and then it drops off substantially after that.
Jacoby Lane.
So Jacoby Lane has been playing well in camp. So to me, like I look at the Chiefs like still in a 1-game matchup. They can match up with anybody. Just because they're the Chiefs.
In a 1-game matchup, but it's a 1-game matchup 20 times throughout the season. You know what I mean?
And then, but Mahomes has only had 1 year where he's missed the playoffs, and when he was healthy, he was never mathematically eliminated. So every year, that Patrick Mahomes has been healthy, he's been in the playoffs. And he's been in the AFC Championship. He has a record of 12-2 against AFC opponents.
This, bro. How?
You're expecting anything different with the Chiefs stuff?
Like, to me, I don't. They were the youngest defense in the league in 2022. All these question marks that we have right now about the Chiefs, everybody had them in 2022. And they won the Super Bowl, and they had the best offense in the league. So Joel, this is a highly motivated Patrick Mahomes.
So you think it's no world that they missed the playoffs?
No.
But how
it doesn't exist.
Good the AFC is? Like, the AFC is really good.
It doesn't exist. It doesn't exist.
It existed last year.
This is because of Mahomes' injury.
He wasn't.
They were like a 500 team when he was healthy.
If Mahomes didn't get hurt, they would have definitely made the playoffs.
They were a coin flip to make the playoffs.
They were getting whooped by Houston when he got hurt.
How I see it is the addition of the run game is going to alleviate everything for this team. That is the biggest addition that any team has made this offseason. It's bigger than A.J. Brown to the Patriots. It's bigger than Jalen Waddle to the Broncos. Kenneth Walker to the Chiefs is as big. It's even more important than those additions.
It's not bigger than A.J. in New England.
Yeah, that might be the one that's not.
But here's the thing.
It's on the same level.
What is the Chiefs' offensive line going to be? You have Kingsley Soon.
It's an elite offensive line.
And then right tackle.
There aren't 5 offensive lines that are better than the Chiefs. You have Josh Simmons, who looked like the best left tackle in the draft. You have Creed Humphrey, the best center in football. You have Trey Smith, an elite guard. Kingsley was an average starting player last year. He wasn't terrible. At left tackle...
Are we being generous with the average?
I think no.
Not very generous.
At left tackle, he was abysmal. At left guard, he was fine. And then right tackle, you have Jalen Moore.
They're not top 5 offensive line.
They won a Super Bowl with
He's ignoring that.
They're not top 5. If you want to say even AFC,
who's better than them?
The Broncos definitely, the Eagles definitely, Rams. The Bears definitely, the Bills definitely, the Rams definitely.
The Rams, I don't know if it's definite. No. Why is the Rams definite?
The Rams had arguably the best line of football last year.
Yeah,
why is the Rams definite though?
What's their weakness?
Who's the marquee guy on their offensive line?
Kevin Dotson.
I think more than anything, it's just not having a weakness across your offensive line.
Yeah.
Like your
the Chiefs don't have a weakness either.
That's a complete line with the Rams. Even the Saints' offensive line might be better too.
The Saints?
They add in David Edwards. They have all these young tackles who are developing.
I think they're comparable. I think the Saints' offensive line is really good. Yeah, Kelvin Banks.
You're telling me the Saints now. You're just disrespecting the offensive line at this point, in my opinion.
The Chiefs have 2 question marks in the offensive lines. They not.
Let's see the grade.
Jalen Moore is fine. Mahomes won a Super Bowl with Donovan Smith being his left tackle. And then who's this?
Well, he can make it work, but it could still be weak.
Who's the guy that was the right tackle that just left?
Oh, Jawan Taylor, yeah.
Jawan Taylor. He led league in penalties. They won 2 with him.
Who's going to be the right tackle this year for the Chiefs?
Jalen Moore.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I think you feel good about the interior with Trey Smith and Creed Humphrey.
They were second in pass block win rate this past season. The Chiefs' offensive line.
Yeah, Simmons was better against in pass. The run, he ranked 74th out of 79 tackles.
They also don't have a good running back at all. So that it can help. So I'm looking at PFF's rankings. Broncos are 1, Eagles are 2, Buccaneers are 3.
Bucks, facts. They're healthy, yeah.
4 is the Colts. 5 is the Bears. 6 is the Bills. 7 is the Chargers. 8 is the Chiefs. And you can argue with the Chargers because of the injury proneness.
Yeah, I would give you Chargers.
The Bills, I'll give you the Bills.
For sure.
The Vikings all line's better too.
What?
They have arguably the best tackle duo in football. Will Fries, Donovan Jackson.
Will Fries was
an average guard.
Will Fries was not good last year. He only had 1 season.
But in Indianapolis last year, he was very good. So if you're getting
he played 4 games.
The last time he was healthy in Indianapolis. If you're getting average guard play and elite tackle play, that's better than
Will Fries played 4 games in Indianapolis' final year.
You have Christian Darrisaw and Brian O'Neill.
It's a very good
Jackson
offensive line. But no, like these offensive lines just being shoe-ins better than the Chiefs, I think is crazy.
Line too.
I'm
Eric
with the
McCoy,
Saints.
David Edwards.
They picked up facts.
That Saints offense line.
Kelvin Banks was really solid last year.
David Edwards is not Trey Smith.
He's really good.
Eric McCoy is not Creed Humphrey.
Okay, what about the tackles?
And you got Kelvin Banks.
Fuaga and Kelvin Banks are better than Josh Simmons and Moore.
Josh Simmons was better than Kelvin Banks. I think Kelvin Banks is a star though.
Yeah, Kelvin Banks is a stud.
And then you have Cesar Ruiz at guard, who's like all right.
Yeah, he's whatever.
So I mean.
But Chiefs McCoy, Edwards, line, Banks, and Fuaga?
Like, without a doubt, the Chiefs' offensive line is a great offensive line, though. Like, even if we're arguing semantics, like top 5, whatever, like, the Chiefs' offensive line is a clear strong point.
I think Humphrey and Trey Smith are really good.
Josh Simmons
should be really good, too. To me, they have 3 strong, high-end, elite level, very good elite level players.
They ranked second in pass block win rate last year with injuries.
Don't worry about your receivers, bro.
The offensive line is a clear strong point, which is why I think adding a running back it alleviates everything. Because it gives you an explosive element, but also you have the offensive line that can protect for that running back. And that's something that Kenneth Walker really hasn't had. Like, Kenneth Walker's going from Seattle's offensive line to Chiefs' offensive line, which is an upgrade. And Seattle's was a good offensive line last year. And then, yeah, the receiving core you have questions about, but Travis Kelce last year was still a top 5 statistical tight end. Rashee Rice is healthy. Xavier Worthy is not playing with.
He's not a
broken shoulder.
He's not top 5.
He's not, but still, he's a top 10 at least, though. He's still a top 10 tight end.
That says more, I think, about the tight end landscape than
Travis Kelce is still productive. He's still a good player.
He's good.
He's still a good player.
Some lowlights last year. Xavier Worthy's is an oddball because what he does, Rasheed Rice doesn't have much.
He just
not that good.
Xavier Worthy just broke his shoulder in week 1 last year.
Yeah.
And he played the entire season.
Like Kelce there.
Kelce detonated shoulder.
So for me, like, I'm looking at the Chiefs and I think they'll be fine. Like, offensively, we shouldn't question it. Last year was the
ceiling of the past.
Last year was the worst possible offense you could throw out there for Mahomes, and it ranked 4th. It ranked 4th.
Well, I don't know if I'm buying that number, man. The offense at times looked a little muddy. They did lose a lot of one-score games.
And then the defense, I'm not mad at them losing McDuffie, because McDuffie, this past season when he was tasked to be an outside corner, he got beat a lot. Like, he had a lot of low lights. I think he's an elite nickel corner. On the outside, he's more like starter good. He's like good, but he's not an elite outside corner. No Williams was awesome. Delane, you bring back Snead. You have Kennedy, the rookie. The Chiefs, since 2022, they've always fielded the youngest defense out there. And I think the most optimistic part of everything is just the defensive line getting better. Like, you mentioned Peter Woods. You have Peter Woods and Chris Jones, and then you have Tonga, who you signed. And then you have your edge rusher in R. Mason Thomas, who you drafted as well, to complement George Karlaftis. Like, I think the big thing with the Chiefs defense is now that you're getting more pressure, you should be able to be better on third downs because you can get after the quarterback better. So to me, I think the Chiefs, they're going under the radar because people think that just because they were down last year, they would be down again. But, I mean, they have Patrick Mahomes, and that's all that they need.
That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
Did we mention the Colts offensive line too?
Yeah, you said.
I was gonna say you definitely.
So number 1 seed for you. Well,
they're winning the division. Yeah.
Okay, fire. So listen, these 3 teams are gonna be pretty great. At least excited to watch.
The way I see it is that the Chiefs are gonna be 10-6 week 18, playing the Raiders, so they'd be an 11-6 team, and the Broncos and the Chargers will both be 9-7 week 18,
playing for that last
for that last spot, the second seed in the AFC.
Okay. And
we'll see who wins that. But
what if it's you guys playing the Raiders and you need like Broncos to lose?
The Chiefs are making the playoffs. Stamped.
All right.
And I also believe that they have the easiest start of the season in all these teams. That's also a big thing working in the Chiefs' advantage, is that to start the season, their schedule isn't as tough as the Broncos, and they don't have the gauntlet stretch that the Chargers have from like week 13 to week 12. The Chiefs have a pretty balanced all-around schedule where they'll be able to get off to a hot start.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to matter a lot in this division.
Definitely.
In terms of strength of schedule, I'm just looking at it now. Broncos are 11th, so that means 11th easiest. Chiefs are right behind them at 12th easiest. The Chargers are at 20th, so they have the toughest schedule out the bunch.
It's just about when they play the opponents, because the Broncos, after the 6 games, they have the easiest schedule. If the Broncos get off to a 4-2 start, they're winning the division. There's just that start of their schedule is very hard, and that's what could set them back, because they could be maybe 2-4, and now you're looking at them bouncing back.
I guess it depends, because if week 1 you got the Chiefs winning, then things could go down. I would probably have the Broncos winning week 1.
I had the Broncos winning week 1. So to me, the Broncos win week 1. This is a Chiefs schedule. Week 2 they play the Colts. I think that's a win.
Yep.
Week 3 they play the Dolphins. I think that's a win. Week 4 they play the Raiders. I think that's a win. That's a 3-1 start for the Chiefs.
Back on track.
And then they play the Chargers and the Seahawks.
You gotta go 1-1.
And then they play the Broncos. So it's a tough 3-game stretch. But then after that they play the Jets, Falcons, and Cardinals. So they have tough opponents, but then they have some gimmies in the mix of all that.
Falcons are a gimme, but I get what you're saying.
Oh, the Falcons are definitely a gimme.
I wouldn't say that.
They're definitely a gimme.
One of them teams that could just sneak you up on a random week 9.
They have 2 at quarterback.
You know what?
Maybe it would be Penix.
Right.
So who depends?
Listen. All right, you got me there.
If they lose to the Falcons, they're not making
playoffs. As long as they go 2-1 out that Broncos, Chargers, Seahawks stretch, they'll be fine.
I'm looking at their schedule. I'm looking at, you should beat the Dolphins and Raiders. That's 2 wins. You should beat the Jets, Falcons, and Cardinals. That's 3 more wins. That's 5 wins on the season.
One of those games, though. It always happens.
You should beat the Raiders twice, so that's another win. That's 6 wins. So then, really, I mean, you should beat the Colts as well. That's 7 wins. and then you just got to split with the Chargers.
Shoot, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Or the hottest team in football last year.
One of those games you're gonna lose. They're gonna drop.
Then they play the Bengals with the Patriots to beat the Niners. You know he's gonna beat the Niners. He always beats them. That's 8. You know he's gonna beat the Bengals. That's 9. You know the Bills gonna beat them in the regular season. You know you're gonna split with the Broncos. That's 10. You're gonna split with the Chargers. That's 11. That's 11 wins. 11 wins, baby. Come on.
You got all
11 wins, baby.
You got all the 50-50s.
11 wins, man.
You guys are gonna have to forgive me for being on my phone so much this episode. Drew Aller. I've been scarred by Steelers rookie.
Here we go.
You just said he's a 2-year project.
You just said 2 hours ago he shouldn't play for 3 years.
He shouldn't play for 2 years. Tonight, 3 drives, 3 touchdowns.
I gotta go watch.
Looks nice. And Keenan Wetchen had like a 75-yard reception.
There you go, John.
Well, you know that
one of his drives.
McCarthy is a quarterback guru.
He is.
The proverbial Mike McCarthy quarterback school.
Yeah,
he's rebuilding Aller's mechanics. I mean, all these Penn State quarterbacks have not had necessarily a master class in quarterback development. So I am optimistic, and I know you're optimistic, that if you sit Drew Aller for 2 years, he learns behind an elite mentor, Aaron Rodgers, who took Jordan Love under his wing, and he gets that second year as well to develop and rebuild his mechanics. He can be a successful NFL quarterback.
Now, if you're watching this far, make sure you guys like the episode and subscribe to the channel. And stick around because we still have to do our all-time AFC West draft.
I got to doo-doo so bad, bro.
On to the last team, the Las Vegas Raiders. What does a successful season look like for the Raiders?
You figure out at the end of the year that Mendoza's really good and you can build something around him. I think there's going to be some highs and lows. I think for the most part you have Kirk Cousins there, so he might not start right away. You might throw Kirk Cousins out there. But for right now, your job is just trying to figure out, do we have a guy? You know, this is our quarterback. This is our top pick. You have Brock Bowers out there along with Ashton Genty. So you're building yourself a nice, handsome little core here on offense with your tight end, who basically plays like your wide receiver.
Yeah.
And then your running back, Ashton Genty, who you just drafted last year. So you're trying to figure out what that is. And I think for the Raiders this year, it's going to be about just growth, patience, you know, understanding the process. Be a real rebuild team. Like, be a real team that you're out here trying to get reps for your guys. What's going to happen with Max Crosby, I think, for me, is the one thing I'm focusing on. Are they going to trade him by the deadline? Is he going to stay on the roster? You know, what's going to happen with him? How is he's going to look coming back from his injury and stuff like that? But for the most part, for the Raiders, I feel like in this division right now, with the way the season is looking, I don't think you have any chance of competing Chiefs, Chargers, Broncos right now. You're going to need some real serious, you know, team building. But at the same time, you're dealing with 2 of the 7 best quarterbacks in football in your division. Justin Herbert nearing his prime at that age, Mahomes in his prime. So you really need to find out if Mendoza's that guy, because you're dealing with some 2 demons that are at the quarterback position. But excuse me, I think for the Raiders, just figuring out that youth and just figuring out that type of talent, I think that's important.
Yeah, I think it's. Sorry, go ahead, John.
You got it, bro.
All right, I think it's just about passing a bar if you're the Raiders to evaluate Mendoza, right? Like you don't want to have a Trevor Lawrence rookie year. You don't want to have a Caleb Williams rookie year. You don't want to have a year where you don't know if Mendoza's the problem or the situation's the problem. And I think bringing in Clint Kubiak, investing some in the offensive line, getting Colton Miller back, getting Powers Johnson back, I think that gives you enough to at least climb a bar of this should be a competent offense, right? You have the weapons in Genty and Bowers. The offensive line, it's not going to be a top 10 unit, but if it does stay healthy, it should be good enough to the point where, all right, is Mendoza holding on the ball too much, or is the offensive line just getting fried every single play? I don't think it should be to that extent, especially if Colton Miller can stay healthy. The biggest change for Mendoza is just going to be the style of offense he's playing. Indiana ran, I don't know if it was number 1, but some of the most RPOs in terms of college football, right? That's a team that just primarily ran RPOs as their style of offense. Clint Kubiak is going to have Mendoza under center. Last year, the Seahawks were number 2 in under center rate, running more than 50% of the time. I'm also interested to see what that looks like for Kirk Cousins, because, you know, his last year with Atlanta after the Achilles, it was basically all pistol, all shotgun, because he didn't feel comfortable going under center and being able to like push off of his foot. So interested to see just how much Clint Kubiak is, number 1, just going to be changing his scheme to his quarterbacks. Are we going to see more RPOs out of them? Are we going to see less under center plays for him because to get Mendoza acclimated his first, whatever month into the NFL? But I think defensively, I don't really care. Like, whatever. It's probably not going to be a good unit. Maybe Max gets traded. Maybe he doesn't. But it's just all about Mendoza, right? It's just all about, can Clint Kubiak, who I think is going to be a really good head coach, is he the guy we think he is? Is Mendoza the guy we think he is? Because if you're able to end this season and be like, yo, we feel really good about Mendoza. You know, like, he just had a season where obviously he's only going to play maybe, we'll see, maybe 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 10 weeks, 4 weeks. I don't know what it is, but he went out there, he ran the offense, he didn't make mistakes, he didn't take too many sacks, he was able to hit Brock Bowers, he was able to see Genty in the backfield, he was able to get through his progressions. I think that's all that matters at the end of the day. So if they're able to get that and you're a Raiders fan, you got to feel happy.
Yeah, no, I mean, a successful year for the Raiders comes down to positive returns for Clint Kubiak and Fernando Mendoza. And I like the fact that the Raiders bring in a veteran like Kirk Cousins, because history tells us your first overall pick and your first round pick at quarterback should sit day one. And he should have time to learn from a veteran, and that'll help him in the long haul. The other thing for the Raiders, of course, too, is with Clint Kubiak coming in, these new additions to the offensive line, 2 of which being guys that were hurt last year, what do we get from Ashton Genty and Brock Bowers, who was not healthy for last season? Because those 2 guys are the focal points of this offense. Riv, I thought you were right. Brock Bowers is their wide receiver 1. It's not Trey Tucker or any of these other kind of 2s, 3s, and 4s that have all been in here. It's going to be an offense centered around those 2 players, and you need them to be at their absolute best. I'm expecting Brock Bowers to have an insane bounce back year, kind of similar to what Ladd McConkey mentioned before. I'm planting my flag with him. Brock Bowers in there, another player that I could see just having a monstrous season. We saw Kirk last year, Kyle Pitts completely take his game to a different level, and I'm excited to see this offense just have a floor. I mean, we talked about this earlier with the Chargers. Last year, that did not exist. It was funny. They won the first game of the year versus the Patriots, and that was an ugly matchup. But then every single week, it felt like we reached a new low at the offensive line. So much of it was poor coaching. I believe this year the Raiders have a chance to finally turn around and get back to the point where last year we thought they would be at, which is a competent team. I'm not going to judge the year off wins and losses because their schedule is absolutely brutal. They face the NFC West, and then they have their own division, which is 6 playoff teams right there. But the success for the Raiders this year comes down to your coach and your young quarterback showing something that this is the future of the Raiders franchise.
I love the additions they made on defense with Kwity Paye, Teron Johnson, Nakobe Dean, and Quay Walker. And not trading away Max Crosby now gives them a much higher defensive floor because he is still one of the premier edge rushers. I like that. The Tyler Linderbaum signing was one of the biggest signings a team could make. They had a clear need at offensive line, at center. Their offensive line was a joke last year. It was a laughing stock. It was atrocious. It was one of the big reasons why Geno Smith didn't perform. It was, They had such a terrible offensive line. They allowed quick pressure at one of the highest rates. So now bringing in a premier center, you hope that the offensive line could be more competent. And the one person I'm looking at is Ashton Genty. Ashton Genty was drafted with a top 10 pick because he's a game breaker. He is a game-changing talent. He just had an offensive line that was so bad in front of him that all of his game-breaking plays were to gain 1 yard or just to make the play not a negative and just to make it neutral. Now with an improved offensive line in front of him, that's the guy I'm looking at the most and saying, okay, let's see how much of a star you are. Let's see if this is going to be the year that you break out. Let's see if this is going to be the year that people trust in drafting you in the first round in fantasy like last year was. We want to see that from Ashton Genty.
Are you subbing someone?
Ashton Genty, to me, that's the player that I'm looking at the most. Mendoza, we know, he has to prove something, and I hope that they do have him sit to learn under a veteran and mastermind manipulator in Kirk Cousins. So Fernando Mendoza can soak all that information in like a sponge, and he could just, let it out when he's ready.
Yeah.
But Ashton Genty, to me, he's going to be the constant all season long. And if the offense is going to be amazing this year, or let's say average this year, it's going to be because of the combination of Bowers and Genty, and the run game gets established. So Clint Kubiak, one of the biggest things that he brought to Seattle was establishing a run with Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. So now it's about establishing a run in Vegas. And I want to see Ashton Genty be one of the premier running backs statistically this upcoming season.
We saw him, I know, the total, even the total numbers were actually pretty good, but we saw him have those big games, like that Houston game he went off in Chicago. He had games where it's like, oh, this guy's a superstar. So I think, I know, honestly, there's a lot of fantasy players in this Hampton, Genty, right? There's a lot of guys that have some question marks, but I'm all in on both, man.
Yeah, shout out to Genty,
all
man.
those touches are being consolidated to those two.
Cousins.
Yeah. Do you draft Genty?
No, I didn't draft Genty, but he was going in people's first round.
My dynasty team is right on him big time.
Okay.
Yeah. So Genty, he needs to have a bounce back season. He was one of the biggest busts in fantasy last year.
Who's your running back? Like, if you take Bijan and Gibbs off the board, who would be your first off the board? Running back.
Probably Puka. Well,
running back, gang.
Oh, running back.
CMC, JT, James Cook, Achan, Hampton, Chase Brown.
All year.
Cook's going to have some scoring opportunities in a great offense.
Next guy? Kenneth Walker.
And Cook should have more receiving reps this year. I know that's
Walker, baby.
You know, James Cook had 16 TDs last year.
Oh, no, yeah, it'll probably be James Cook.
Taylor. Yeah.
James Cook over CMC?
I don't know, it just depends. I'm just scared of CMC's injury stuff.
Yeah.
I wouldn't take him with to be my marquee player with my first round pick.
Well, you have to take him. You either take him the first, you don't get him.
Like if he fell to me in a second, I'll take him. But I don't want my entire team riding on CMC.
I would probably rather Saquon this year.
I'm gonna be honest. If I'm not getting Bijan or Gibbs, I'm taking a receiver in the first round. I'm not taking a running back in the first round. I'll take the running back in the second, third round. Because you got to have two good running backs.
So would you take CD over? Who's your RB3? Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, I'll take CD over him.
Justin Jefferson.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now,
I'll take JSN over them too.
Yeah, take JSN and Amon-Ra. I figured.
Yeah. I'll take them.
Puka and Chase, obviously.
Probably, yeah.
Would you take AJ Brown this year over him?
Probably.
I think that's
over Walker?
Like, so you're the third guy. So, yeah, Walker.
Yeah,
that's probably more second round selection, though.
Yeah, to me, I think the sleeper running backs, one of the running backs that I'm hoping I'm getting kind of high, but later comparatively is Chase Brown.
Yeah,
I think Chase Brown's going to be awesome.
When Burrow was
second
healthy,
round, bro.
he was
second round?
He's gonna be a top 10 running back. ADP.
What y'all doing, man? What y'all doing, man? Y'all be messing up the game. Damn.
JSN and Puka should probably be entrenched.
If I got to take Chase Brown in the second round, I'd rather just draft J.K. Dobbins in the 7th.
Oh, yeah. You could definitely do that. Probably second, third round for Chase Brown. But early third.
High. It's awfully high.
Yeah, bro. His
is RB7?
I was going to say, he's been awesome. Let's see where his ADP is right now. Because I was doing my rankings. He was definitely top 10 for me, or maybe top 11. But
you got to take Brees.
Of course you got to take Brees.
Brees Hall.
Right now, Chase Brown's ADP. Where are we? RB11. Kenneth Walker's 10. Hampton's 9. Saquon 8. HN 7. Genty's at 6. Damn. James Cook's 5. JT 4. CMC 3.
Yeah, Kenneth Walker has a chance to outperform all those dudes. And KC now, he's been waiting to get an opportunity this massive.
Yeah.
He was kind of mad about Charbonnet stealing a lot of his touchdowns last year. Because Walker would have been even better in fantasy if he didn't get
because Sharps was the goal line guy. He was getting all the touchdowns.
Yeah, maybe they're bringing Tyler Algier to continue the legacy.
Or Emmett Johnson. That's running back out of Nebraska. Strong and brolic, John. Strong.
He's nice.
Just strong.
John,
he's a good.
What position would you play?
In the NFL?
Yeah, you had an opportunity.
Well, when I played football, I played corner and receiver.
We got to be serious.
Nickel corner slot receiver.
Sure.
I was better at corner than receiver.
I'm thinking let's give you NFL body.
We never threw the football. Also, my 3 best friends all played running back. I mean, at the high school and middle school level, we were throwing the ball tops 10 times a game.
Oh, I wouldn't know.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you have a quarterback, I feel like you're not throwing that shit 10 times.
Playing corner was fun.
White corner, Riley Moss and shit.
I used to play corner too.
You would have, playing, I wasn't good, but growing up, quarterbacks would just have a random hiccup, and it would be very easy to get interceptions here and there just off terrible decisions.
How many interceptions you have?
I mean, never really
recorded one.
No, I had interceptions.
In game.
How many interceptions? Playing football 6 years?
Dude,
I don't know. I would probably have a few a year. A few forced fumbles. No, more fumble recoveries than forced fumbles for sure.
You're a ball. Scoop.
If there is a loose ball, I was getting it.
Okay, all right. It's the hard in you.
I probably was getting 1 or 2 interceptions a year in the 8-game season. Yeah.
Wow.
What was the last year you played?
High school, freshman year. Yeah.
So you had 12 total interceptions.
Yeah. I stopped playing. When I started playing basketball that season, that was the most fun I had playing basketball in my life. So that was when I started playing AAU. But to be quite honest with you, the moment where I was I'm done playing football was watching the Ryan Shazier injury.
Okay.
Because I had the worst tackling technique growing up, and I would just lunge like a wrecking ball. But my technique was so poor. And there were plenty of moments that I would get my bell run. I never was diagnosed with a concussion, but there were moments where you had those hits, and then I was looking at this play, and I'm like, you know what? I was 120 pounds, not even 110 pounds playing high school football. I'm like, maybe maybe it's time
hang
for me
them
to hang up the cleats.
Yeah.
And I think looking back now, playing football is one of the best decisions you can make because the amount of discipline it builds, but the commitment and then also the injury risk. I mean, you would get home from football practice at 8 p.m. every single day, and the summer's 3 days. We'd go up to New York. We'd have 2 days. Basically, it's practice to noon, weight room to 2 or 3, summer league practice for basketball. That's the entire day. So the commitment, bro, and then on top of that, watching the Shazier injury, I'm like, that's kind of crazy. Like, you could have terrible tackling technique and have an injury so serious. I'm like, you know what? I think I'm good. I think my time's up. Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I'm glad my coach never played me freshman football. I'm sure that he probably just looked at me and was just like, yo, I'm not putting him on.
Pee-wee? No, Pee-wee.
Yeah. No, it wasn't. No, it's freshman football.
Oh, not Pee-wee. I mean, what is it? Pop Warner.
No, freshman.
No, it's freshman football.
Yeah.
High school.
Yeah.
Freshman high school football.
Professional, so I
No.
thought you meant Pop Warner.
Freshman high school football. You got your bell rung a little bit there, huh? I mean, no, freshman high school football. The 2 positions I played were running back and corner. Running back fit me, but I'm sure that he didn't want me getting hit.
Crazy.
I mean, me at corner. Here's the thing. And this one, I realized that football just wasn't going to be for me. I played the perfect coverage on this receiver. Talking about you couldn't stick on him better than I was there. I was draped, bro. I was draped all over him. The quarterback just threw a pass that was a little bit above my wingspan. And it was a high ball, and I jumped with all my might, with my vertical max leap, with my arms in the air, and I closed my eyes. I'm thinking I intercepted it, and we fall to the ground, and he got the ball. I'm like, no. And I'm like, no way. I'm like, bro, I jumped as high as I could. I didn't get it. So I was like, yeah, nah, bro. It was one of the most embarrassing moments. Getting mossed like that was just like, I can't play cornerback again. And my instincts at safety were terrible, bro. I would read the play, and I would go the other way. I wouldn't even be near the play. I'd be playing 20 yards back.
I'm crying.
I'll be playing 20 yards back.
Single high safety is very tough.
And I'll be like, man, where do I go? My teammates make the tackle. I'm like, yo, just shit, yo. I ain't do nothing. I say, yo, if that running back bounced this way, I was gone. Like, if I'm the last line of defense,
we're in trouble.
We're getting scored on. If I'm the last line of defense and there's 50 yards between me and the end zone, he's house calling it. There's no other way. Yeah, he's going all the way with it. So no, safety was the toughest position I played. Cornerback, I was there. Like, everything was sound with me. You know, I couldn't. It's just an advantage.
Brandon Stevens, man.
That's why I wanted some reps at running back, but nothing's more dangerous than playing on special teams because it'd be full speed. Yeah, I had to play kickoff. And as soon as the kicker kicked the ball off and I was running, I was over here avoiding these players. I was over here. I was not trying to tackle. I was not trying to get in nobody's way. Somebody kind of came to block me. Somebody came like this, and I just like fell. I was like, I just fell, rolling out the play.
You have to like be dying your P's and Q's. Is that the saying on special teams? Because the amount of blind sides that can come, dude, you can get cracked on special teams. No one's going to see it because they're looking at the ball and you can be completely away from the play. So you have to keep your head on a swivel, is what I'm trying to say, because that's where you'll see some of the worst hits. Someone's not even blocking. It's getting completely
the returner, he was angling like towards out of bounds, and I was like running to chase him down, and I just like, he was already going out, and I like, he went out and I dove, and I was like, he was like, coach was like, yo, good job. I'm like, yeah. I was like, man, I ain't finna do that, man. They be giants, bruh. Because I was playing freshman football, and these people was like 6'5" on special teams, like just hunting. And I'm just like, yeah, I'm just gonna navigate this. I'm not gonna try to get hit. I'm just gonna do.
Did you play all year freshman year?
Yeah, I played all year, but I didn't like. Did I play in the game? No, I just strictly practiced. Yeah. So like in hindsight, I'm glad that my freshman coach didn't put me in the games because he knew I was gonna get rocked. Like, he knew that I probably had a high probability, maybe a higher probability than all the other kids that getting hurt. So he didn't put me in. Yeah, he was definitely looking out. And even after the football season, he's like, yo, man, how about you join my wrestling team? I was like, yo, let me make you a wrestler.
Okay.
But I ain't like it because everybody told me the wrestling practices were crazy, bro. Like, they would practice in a hot-ass room, like intense cardio, like all this. And I'm like, bro, I ain't really trying to be in that environment.
My football coaches wanted me to play wrestling. I did. They gave us the singlets. I quit the next day.
Bro,
I was like, I'm not wearing this shit.
They tried to recruit me one time for football, and I'll be honest, bro, they just did a bad job recruiting me. I don't remember who he was. He was a teacher's aide, though. He was just like a tall black teacher's aide. I don't remember what his name was.
Tall black.
Tall and black. That's all I remember. I don't remember who he was, but I remember he'd give us answers to the test if you went up to him. So he was always right. But he went up to me and he's like, "Do you play football?" I was like, "Nah, I haven't played." He's like, "Do you want to hit somebody or do you want to get hit?" And I'm like, "Neither." I was like, I don't. Neither of these sounds good. And he was like, "All right, go sit down." And I was like, "All right."
Did they ever recruit you for basketball?
No. Damn. They had enough options in Hackensack not to get a white guy.
Yeah.
You know?
You would have been a good left tackle.
Yeah, 6'5". Sure. I could have definitely been a tackle.
Or you could have been a quarterback.
Tight end?
Maybe.
If you didn't
have the hands, man. Didn't have the hands.
If you had the arm, you could have definitely been a quarterback.
I had a decent arm.
Yeah, you could have
definitely.
But
no, I was big in high school, bro. They would have put me on the line for sure.
You fake could have been all right.
Yeah. Because I was tall and I was overweight then, so I would definitely been on the line.
Fit right the description.
Shout out to
if he just did a better job recruiting me.
Yeah, now that question really, you probably was like, what, bro? Like,
we were in geometry class.
Yeah, you probably.
He's like, do you want to hit or get hit?
In there high too, like.
Yeah,
what?
Dells was the left. If Dells was the left tackle, it would have been Anthony Costanzo.
They were okay. I was thinking.
Y'all see my color. I know what I would have been.
Rickishaw Ferguson.
The brick.
You would have been Joe Thomas.
There we go. That's a legend.
Yeah. All right, you guys ready to
so many legends
to give your AFC West prediction standings? Oh, yeah. We're not doing the all-time draft just yet. My bad. This is for the AFC West. Okay, AFC West standings predictions. Number 1, I got the Kansas City Chiefs. Bounce back season for Patrick Mahomes. Mahomes is gonna shut up a lot of the doubters up. When Mahomes is healthy, they make the playoffs. It's that simple. Last year they missed it because he got hurt. That's why. But AFC West standing predictions. Number 1, the Kansas City Chiefs. Number 2, the Denver Broncos. Number 3, the LA Chargers. And number 4, the Las Vegas Raiders.
Number 1, I got Denver going back-to-back. I think the team's too talented. Number 2, I got the Chargers. 3, I got the Chiefs. I don't see the upside like you do with Kansas City. At 4, I got Vegas.
Number 1, I got Denver. Number 2, I have the Chiefs. Number 3, I have the Chargers. Oh, and number 4, I have the Raiders.
Nice. Number 1, I got the Broncos. 2, I got the Chargers. 3, I've got the Chiefs. I believe they'll be within a game of each other. And last, I've got the Las Vegas Raiders.
It's a lot of doubt in this room on Patrick Mahomes. Like, he's not a 3-time Super Bowl champion, 2-time Super Bowl MVP.
You're doing all that talking for the number 2.
I know.
And every time that he has been healthy, they made the playoffs. He was healthy last year. No, Patrick Mahomes has never been eliminated from the playoffs, mathematically eliminated from the playoffs when he's been healthy.
You're going to ride that.
Yeah. I see the Chargers and the Chiefs finishing in the same record, round 10.
I think they'll all be within a game or 2 max of each other. I think they're all close.
Predicting breakout players in the AFC West. First team up, the Denver Broncos.
There's a few different ways you can go here. My pick's going to be Jahdae Barron. I'm expecting him to have a big second season, taking a step forward and establish himself. I know right now he's not getting a whole lot of hype, but I do believe that he's going to be a key part of the secondary.
I'm going to go with Jonah Coleman. J.K. Dobbins always has an injury history. R.J. Harvey's a bit up and down as a rookie. Coleman, really good rusher. He was a really good pass protector, too, in college, so he'll get on some third downs.
And for me, it's going to be Pat Bryant. Good size, good speed. That third wide receiver spot is going to be open for him. I think he showed a little bit in the playoffs last year, too. So that's going to be my guy.
I'm going with Pat Bryant as well. I think he's going to be the clear third best receiver in the bunch. You have Waddle, Sutton, then it will be Pat Bryant, and he's been having a tremendous camp. Next team up, the LA Chargers.
This can go so many different ways. There's one big one that I have, which I think is obvious. Most people are going to take it. Amari Hampton, if he's healthy in this year, I believe could have a really good season, even though they're going to work in Vidal and Mitchell. But my dart throw breakout pick is Trey Harris. I'm excited to see how Mike McDaniel is able to use him as kind of this winner at the intermediate and also a deep threat who can kind of add that extra gear to this offense. I believe after the catch and then as a route runner, he brings a lot to the table as this kind of multi-level route winner. So I'm expecting him to also have a much bigger role in year 2 and maybe kind of start to take a lot of those targets away from Quentin Johnson.
I'm going with the easy pick in Amari Hampton. Well, we saw the first month of last season, he was averaging nearly 100 yards per game. He was breaking tackles. He had breakaway runs. He was looking like one of the better running backs in football as a rookie. Now in year 2, better, healthier offensive line, one of the best play callers in the sport. I think it's gonna be a great year.
I'm also with Dells. It's gonna be Omarion Hampton. Him, Mike McDaniels. Tackles are back. I think it's gonna be special.
I'm going to go with Trey Harris, another second-year player. Omarion Hampton is a great pick, and I think he has an excellent season. I think Trey Harris is going to establish himself as the second-best wide receiver on the Chargers behind Ladd McConkey. He's very talented, and he was misused last year. You can argue he wasn't used at all, but with Mike McDaniel, that is going to change. Next team up, the Kansas City Chiefs.
My pick's going to be Josh Emmons. I feel like he had a very good rookie year, wasn't able to play the entire season. I believe this year he further cements himself as one of the best left tackles in football.
I'm buying into the Cyrus Allen hype. He's been having a great preseason. When you look at the weapons for the Kansas City Chiefs, you have Rashee Rice coming back from injury. Travis Kelce is pushing 40 years old. And then it's like Tyquan Thornton and Xavier Worthy. There's a real role for Cyrus Allen to have, and it seems like he has a connection with Mahomes.
Mine's going to be Noah Williams. Listen, we've seen Marcus Peters, Trent McDuffie, L'Jarius Sneed. They pump out corners. I think he's going to be the next big thing.
Noah Williams, he was 12th in coverage grade last year. He didn't play that much, but when he did play, he flashed multiple times, and you can argue he should have played more. He has been their best corner clearly in camp.
The Chiefs have been a cornerback factory.
Last team up, the Las Vegas Raiders.
There's two players I expect to blossom that have already kind of established themselves, Brock Bowers and Ashton Genty, but the player that I expect to further cement himself in a breakout year is Eric Stokes at corner. Had a very good season his first year coming over from Green Bay, but I believe this year he takes his game to the next level.
I think Genty's going to have a great year, but he feels too obvious, even though I took Hampton already. I'll go with Jackson Powers Johnson. I feel like Clint Kubiak coming over, what he was able to do with the Seahawks offensive line, make it at least an average to above average unit. I think Jackson Powers Johnson, former day 2 pick, will have a good year.
I'm going with Nakobe Dean, man. One of the premier captains of the Eagles defense last year when he did come back. I think having that linebacker talent, a guy that can, just create tackles, make tackles, make big plays, be that type of energy, that spark plug for your team. I think that's something they need.
I'm going with Ashton Genty. I think Ashton Genty is going to be one of the 5 best running backs this upcoming season, and the Raiders' run offense will be top 10 because of him. Last year, he was sabotaged with a bad offensive line, but this year, the offensive line is good enough for him to really shine and cement himself as one of the league's premier running backs.
I don't know how I didn't shout out Ladd McConkey reestablished himself as a wide receiver 1 and like 1,100-yard guy, but I think for the Chargers, that would be like the most clear breakout pick, even over Hampton.
Yeah, I like Ladd McConkey a lot. Ladd McConkey is getting slept on. A lot of people sleeping on
That's
Ladd
the one in
McConkey.
Dynasty that I've been trying to target.
Who's sleeping on, bro?
All right, before we get into the draft, let's make sure we're writing down all the positions. John, you're new to the draft format. So for the audience watching, it is an all-time AFC West draft, and we are using mostly modern players. There are some exceptions. Now, let's get into the offense.
Wait.
So it's quarterback, running back, 2 receiver, tight end, interior.
3 receivers.
Where's the note?
Yep. Quarterback, running back, 3 wide receivers. That makes it interesting. 3 wide receivers, a tight end, an interior offensive lineman, and an offensive tackle.
Where's the note, bro?
I'll send it over again in the chat.
Thanks, bro.
If you need it.
Who gets first pick?
Me.
John?
No, I get first pick.
You.
First pick.
Because I didn't get it last time.
Because I want Patrick Mahomes.
We all didn't get it last time.
I didn't get it last time.
We
How
all
did you
didn't
pick
get
the
it
draft
last
order
time.
It was random.
We just said, Riv, you're number 1.
Riv got the first pick. He did.
Yeah, you did.
Did I?
I took Jerry Rice.
But I'll say whoever gets the number 1 overall pick or whoever gets the last pick is cheating, because the snake stuff really gives you an advantage when you pick back to back.
And having number 1 pick doesn't give you an advantage?
Well, you get the snake on the back.
No, you
right?
get snakes both times.
You get a snake in the second round, you know what I mean?
Having the first pick gives you an advantage. That's why I want to have it.
Okay, so go. Take Mahomes.
Yeah,
Okay.
because,
I'll go second.
he had the first pick. I mean, Dells was last, and they took Fitz and T.O. last draft.
Sorry.
It's unfair.
Do your damn homework.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. It's not my fault. I drafted a great team. I'm
Let's
great
do
in
it,
the
my homie,
trenches.
because we know you're taking him.
All right, well, I'm just going to paste the notes on the chat so you can see it.
Thanks, bro.
So, okay, Riv has the big board. We're good. I created a big board, and in this big board in the notes, you guys can't see it if you're watching at home, but it has every player's accolades, their achievements, their Pro Bowls next to their name, because last draft, Walter Jones went undrafted.
No way.
Walter Jones, all-time offensive tackle, one of the 3 best offensive tackles ever. I thought he was going to get taken, but, we had Joe Staley taking over him. We had Andrew Whitworth taking over him. So this time around, you see the accolades. So for some of these older time players, that they are truly, truly, truly elite.
Let's do it. First pick, baby.
AFC West all-time offense draft. I get the first overall pick, and I'm taking the easy pick. It's Patrick LaVon Mahomes II, one of the greatest quarterbacks to ever play in the history of this sport.
I'm taking Payne. It wasn't a thought for me.
Nah, I get it. Peyton Manning was awesome. We need 3 receivers. I'm taking the first one. Give me Tyreek Hill.
It's a nice pick. My first pick on the first round is going to be John Elway. I need to get quarterback because, man, I don't want to get the last one, even though I got some good ones after. And on the turn, let me get a lot of good options here. This is just offense, not defense.
Just doing defense after.
Yeah. I'm going to go with between 2 players, LT and Tony G. And my pick is going to be LT.
Okay.
You do get 2 picks.
The snake.
Yeah.
So you can take both.
So I took John Elway on my first one.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So you took LT?
Yeah, and John Elway.
Deli Mart.
Man, there's some options here. There are some options. You took Tony Gonzalez.
No, I did not.
You didn't. Okay. God, tight end room is stacked. Like, I want to take Kelsey, but it's so good. I'm just going to double tap a receiver and take Tim Brown.
All right, it's a good pickup. You mentioned receivers. I could go receiver, but I'm going to wait. Give me Travis Kelce at tight end.
You took my guy.
I'm sorry. Do you
It's
get snakes now?
For my next pick, I'm going to go running back. I'm going to go with one of the best peaks in the history of the game. I'm going to go with TD Terrell Davis.
You get back-to-back?
Now for my next pick, because the tight end room is stacked, we still have Tony G. We still have Antonio Gates. I'm going to take my first receiver here, and I'm going to take Demaryius Thomas.
Good pick, because I was going to take him. All right, you took Demaryius Thomas, a good pick. You took Terrell Davis. Jamal Charles.
Okay. Man, there's some options. So I got Tyreek Hill and Tim Brown. Part of me just wants to round out this receiver room already. I know he wasn't his best, per se, in the AFC West, but give me Brandon Marshall.
I'm very glad that played out the way it did because I'm taking Tony Gonzalez to be my tight end. And I need to take a receiver big time because I've taken none thus far. Okay. Give me a 20-second shot clock.
Oh, my God.
Dude.
What are we looking up here?
No, I just want to see if I'm missing anyone. I'm going to the notes real quick. Okay. Okay, I'm glad I saw this. I would have otherwise missed this player.
Okay.
With the next pick, give me John Elway's wide receiver 1, Rod Smith.
Okay. All right, so you got Rod Smith. My receivers are taken care of. I'm going to go with the best offensive lineman on the board, Will Shields, 12-time Pro Bowler, 2-time first-team All-Pro, 4-time, 6 All-Pros. You let me get him in the 4th round? Come on, man.
You got to build the trenches.
Got to build it.
And that was I'm building right behind you, brother. Give me Steve W, because I can't pronounce that.
Wisnowski?
Yeah, with my interior line, baby.
Oh, you said with my?
Wisniewski.
Wisniewski. Yeah, you can do that back. Pronounce the name right. Come on, Wisniewski. He deserves that, man.
With my pick, give me Steve Wisniewski.
All-time great interior offensive line is my pick now. I get the snake back to back.
Yes.
Okay. What tight ends are on the board still?
You want us to tell you?
Shannon
and Winslow.
Okay, so Travis Kelce got taken.
Did Antonio Gates get taken?
Yeah. Oh, John, I thought you took him.
Tony Gonzalez got taken. Antonio Gates is still on the board. So is Shannon Sharp. This is tough. This is tough right here. I think I'm going to take one of the best receivers in AFC West history. I'm taking a consistent player with my next pick. I'm going to go with Keenan Allen.
Valid.
And then at my other wide receiver spot, I know he wasn't his best with this team. It was only 1 year, but he was still elite. I'm going to go with Devontae Adams.
It's my turn. It is my turn. All right, give me 4-time All-Pro Willie Roaf.
It's 11-time Pro Bowler. This is Hall of Famer.
Different. That's something different.
I think Riv's up to something. I think I'm also gonna go offensive line here. What do we got? Ryan Clady's on the board. He played a year with the Jets. Didn't remember that. Couple-time All-Pro. Because the thing is, you guys all have a quarterback. You guys all have a running back. You guys all have a tight end, right?
Yeah.
So no matter who I take, it doesn't really matter.
I have no receivers.
So I'm just going to round out offensive line. We have Ryan Clady on the board. And then it's a bunch of, like, I guess you're Lincoln Kennedy, but then it's Slater, Bowles, Colton Miller. It's a bunch of current guys. So Ryan Clady, multiple-time first-team All-Pro. And his career short, only played like 8 years, I want to say. He's only 39. Last time he played was 2016. So give me Ryan Clady.
Good pick, Dallas. All right, with my next pick, I'm going to get... Give me Art Shell at tackle. Long-time bookend left tackle for the Raiders in the 70s. All 70s team. 9-time Pro Bowler. 2-time All-Pro. 8-time Pro Bowler, I lied. And then on the turn, there's so many good options at receiver.
No, bro, you just lied.
I'm going to go with an all-timer, Riv.
Amari Cooper?
You ready?
Yeah, go. I'm listening.
Lance Allworth.
Okay.
What a stud.
Back in the 60s.
I used to watch his tape.
I know. Consistently NFL on receiver. That's going to be my receiver, too.
Yeah, he was a great receiver. Great pick, John. Way to know your NFL history. Now it's on Dells.
I have quarterback, running back, and tight end available. Again, you guys took all of them. So who's available in terms of tight end? Shannon Sharp and Winslow? Is that it?
And Antonio Gates.
Damn. Brock Bowers, I guess I could take too. Between Sharp and Gates, I mean, these are two of the best tight ends of all time. I need a running back and a quarterback too. You know what? I'm just going to give my guy some respect. I know Phillip Rivers did it for longer, but I think Justin Herbert peaked higher. Give me Herbo.
Wow. So you got a playoff choker on your team already. Your team already went down like minus 10 attributes. Phillip Rivers is a dog, man. He played on a torn ACL in a playoff game.
That respect, Phil.
Give me my wide receivers. It's just gonna be what it's gonna be. I gotta pay it. I'm gonna take the only All-Pro left on this list. Give me Ed McCaffrey.
Shout out to Ed McCaffrey, man. Love that. So now I have the double back. Really, my tight end is between Shannon Sharp and Antonio Gates.
That's why I let you decide. So I'll just take whoever's left.
Yeah.
Who's your tight end?
I got Kelsey.
Okay.
I can't really make the pick between Sharp and Gates.
I can't believe you guys haven't taken this player then.
Who? For tight end?
Yeah.
Kellen Winslow or Bowers?
I'm not going to say it. I'm not going to help you.
Well, you took a tight end, didn't you?
I'm not going to draft. I did.
Oh.
I'm not going to draft for it.
Okay.
This guy think he is.
Well, who else is left?
I'm surprised the player hasn't been taken.
Who do you think
At
you
tight
are?
end?
I
His name's been
am.
said.
What?
His name's been said. But anyways, carry on.
Gang, who the
Is
hell
it Shannon Sharp?
Who the hell do you think
Is
you
it
are?
Antonio Gates? Is it Kellen
Who's
Winslow?
this guy, Tyler?
Shot clock.
All right. So with my interior offensive lineman, I'm going to go with Creed Humphrey, one of the best centers of our era. You can argue the very best center of the modern era. And then to round out my team and then to select my tight end, I'm going to select my tight end here. I'm going to go with Shannon Sharp.
Fire. Over Gates?
I do think he's over
The player
Gates.
I was alluding to was Kellen Winslow.
Okay.
I'm
Gang,
surprised.
he not getting picked, bro.
Ah.
Throw the respect.
That is crazy.
He was a 5-time Pro Bowler, 3-time first team All-Pro, one-time second team All-Pro.
It's not like you're taking you're taking a Hall of Famer.
This one gonna be real easy for me because the wide receivers getting naked. Give me Vincent Jackson.
Okay. So I'm up. I need running back and tight end. There's so many good running backs on the board, but give me the only MVP. Give me Marcus Allen. Long-time Raider.
Some great picks out, you guys. Vincent Jackson, Riff, good one.
Thanks, bro.
I was 1,000% taking him my next pick. Okay, so my 2 spots left available are interior offensive line and wide receiver 3. It'd be nice if I had guards on my draft board. My receiver 3 is going to be, it's really between these 2 players, Emmanuel Sanders. And my interior offensive lineman, I want to see if I'm missing someone real quick.
What 10 did you take?
I took Sharp.
Okay, so okay.
You wanted Sharp, didn't you?
Honestly, bro, that's why I made you decide, because I was like, I don't know.
But I took Shannon, man.
He had more 1,000-yard seasons.
Sharp
did.
And my final pick at guard will be Gene Upshaw.
Okay.
There we go.
So,
yeah.
All right, my last pick, I'm going to take Antonio Gates. Steal the draft last round.
I mean, yeah, okay. I mean, when we have guys better, is it still in the draft? I don't know. With my last pick, I'm gonna take all-pro guy, Dwayne Bowe.
Okay.
Fill out my wide receivers.
Solid.
To fill out my team offensive tackle, I'm going to go with Garrett Bowles. For my AFC West all-time offense, my quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, my running back, Terrell Davis, my 3 wide receivers, Demaryius Thomas, Keenan Allen, and Devontae Adams, my tight end, Shannon Sharp, my interior offensive lineman, Creed Humphrey, and my offensive tackle, Garrett Bowles.
And my team is Peyton at the helm. I have Ed McCaffrey, Vince Jackson, Dwayne Bowe as my wide receivers, Jamal Charles at the running back position, Kelsey at tight end, and my interior line is Steve Wisniewski. Damn, I almost had it. It's Steve Wisniewski. And then I have Willie Roaf filling out the rest of my team.
It's an elite offensive line.
My team, Justin Herbert's leading the way at quarterback. MVP, Marcus Allen at running back. 3 receivers, Tyreek Hill, Jim Brown, and Brandon Marshall. Tight end, Antonio Gates. Interior O-line, Will Shields. Tackle, Ryan Clady.
Nice. My team is John Elway at quarterback. LT at RB. Wide receiver 1, Rod Smith. Wide receiver 2, Lance Allworth. And wide receiver 3, Emmanuel Sanders. Tight end, Tony G. Interior offensive line, we got Gene Upshaw. And rounding out the squad at tackle, we got none other than Art Shell.
So who didn't we take?
The player that I was alluding to, I said.
I said
Kellen Winslow.
Kellen Winslow.
He's not better than any of these 4 tight ends.
Oh, I would take him over Antonio Gates. Probably peaked higher, but Gates had a longer career.
Yeah. I don't know.
Especially in the era that he played in, he was like a pioneer as a receiving tight end.
Yeah, no, Winslow, I don't know. Antonio Gates.
Now you guys ready to build a defense now?
Defense looks a lot more fun.
Okay. All-time AFC West defense draft. John, you get the first overall pick.
Wow. There's a couple of different ways I can go with this.
I don't even know who the first pick should be. Because
so crazy.
NFC West, I was like, Aaron Donald, easy. Let's do it. This one, I don't know. I don't know who the first pick should be.
It's like 3 guys because of positional value. It's tough.
Can you give me the positions? I don't.
Interior defensive line.
Okay. Interior.
Oh, nigga moved me 3rd. I was going,
edge rusher.
I think he might be gone.
Linebacker. 2 corners.
Okay.
1 free safety and 1 strong safety. If it gets a little rough, you can, combine the safety positions.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go, John.
With my first overall pick, a lot of great defensive options. Secondary players, elite safeties, all-time corners. Got a lot of Super Bowl champion. That's Rev's favorite, of course. My first overall pick is going to be...
You did all that to not have the answer?
No, I got it. Junior Seau.
Okay.
Right.
I was not expecting you to go that way.
Actually, you made this a lot easier for me.
I
know where he's going.
I didn't know exactly who the first pick should be.
Yeah.
I'm going Von Miller.
You bastard. All right. I guess I'm going to go to Legion of Boom vibe. Give me Champ Bailey.
Wait, why Legion of Boom vibe?
I don't know.
So I'm building the secondary.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You got it, right?
I did, but
I got it, but I'm like, okay. Because
Sorry.
of positional value, I feel like this position drops off a lot after the top player. I'm going to pick Chris Jones with my first pick. And with my second overall pick, you picked Champ Bailey. That was an excellent one. With my second pick, I'm going to take Pat Surtain, the second.
I was going to go him next. You lucky. I was about to really build that up, man. All right, let's see. Let's look at what Riv has. Oh, I could still go here, regardless. Do I want to do that, though? Yeah, I do. Give me Charles Woodson.
Okay. Yeah, corners are flying off the board. Give me Aqib Talib.
That champ on the upper. Where you going? Tyler, where you?
Oh, whatever.
Charles here, champ here. What you gonna do? Yeah.
That's a good goal, Riv.
Like, what you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Run? You can't run, bro. You gotta come face these demons.
Okay. With my next pick, this is tough. Okay. I'm going to go with Khalil Mack at edge.
Okay. Yeah, linebacker's a little naked, yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't even draft those to the end of the night.
I know when he went to Philly, he fell off, but Nnamdi Asomugha on the Raiders.
I didn't take him on the turn.
Raiders is different, so that's pretty valid.
But
now I'm drafting for John. You're welcome, John.
I don't know if I'm going now.
Okay.
So you didn't make your pick?
No, I was
two
being an
picks.
idiot.
Yeah.
You made the first one, right?
Mm-hmm. I've got interior D-line, both corner spots, free safety, and strong safety. Yeah, I wasn't going Nnamdi, although I do need a corner. So that could be something I up. Good. But my pick's going to be Steve Atwater.
You love the older guys, John. You love your history. You're a historian.
Well, you love Super Bowl champs, so you should love a two-time champ.
That's what I just said, but you love your 60s.
So who are your two picks that you just went back-to-back with?
I went Junior Seau, Khalil Mack, and Steve Atwater.
So Mack and Atwater.
Yeah.
If I'm getting Raiders, Nnamdi Asomugha, I'm getting a top 2 corner in the world. Give me Nnamdi.
Well, you are. It's AFC West.
Yes.
So you're getting the best version of Nnamdi Asomugha. Excellent pick. Shout out to Nnamdi. You're up next, Riv.
Yes, handsome. I am up next. Let's get freaky. Let's go Derek Thomas at edge.
Great pick.
Let's get him off the board. Bring that booty here, boy, when you come this way.
Okay, so I got back-to-back picks. I'm trying to see who I want to take. All right. I'm going to get my safeties out the way here. I'm going to go with Eric Berry. And I'm going to go with Eric Weddle.
That's cute. I like that pick. Joel. Dad, you took Rod Wilson?
No.
Rod.
We got Rod Woodson up here. We got
Raiders Rod Woodson.
Yeah, Brody.
Not getting AFC North version.
Justin Simmons. Sheesh. Derwin James still on the board. Give me Ted Hendricks at linebacker.
It's valid.
8-time Pro Bowler, 14 first-team All-Pro, 4-time Super Bowl champ.
I saw champion and it really swayed me.
All right, I'm up. I got edge in both my corners. I need safeties, linebacker, and an interior. Derwin James still on the board?
Yep.
Give me Derwin James.
You got back-to-back, John.
Like every round, you already know.
What are you going to do with it?
With my interior defensive line pick, I'm going to go with Howie Long.
I think he's an edge rusher.
He's a defensive end and nose tackle.
Yeah, Riv is dying.
Yeah. We're running 3-4 anyways. So. And on the turn, I haven't taken a corner yet, so that's precisely what I'm going with here.
Nice, dude.
Precisely. Which one?
We're waiting.
Yeah. You took Champ in the first round, right?
Duh.
He's off the board by now, buddy.
Yeah. I was asking who he took in the first round. I wasn't planning to take him.
Let's go, Johnny boy. Howie Long.
You gotta stop.
Dude, cornerback. You guys.
Yeah, that's why you gotta play. You see, that's why when you take Namdi, I was like, say less, because it dried up quick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Still got Quentin Jammer, man. We got Quentin Jammer.
Let me go with.
You got Chris Harris on the board.
Shut up, bro.
Some good options though.
Jesus Christ.
Well, no, I'm looking at the board and it's like most of these DBs in mine up are all gone. So
He's looking up guys in the 60s.
Brother, we locked CBs down a minute ago, bro. Like we're
in the offense, he was like, "Yeah, I'm taking Art Shell, Gene Upshaw." Shout out to legends, man.
Shout out to the legends, pioneers of the game.
Okay. I'm planning to take the safest one. I'm gonna take John Lynch my next pick.
Okay,
I
good
want to
pick.
see if he was gonna be lined up at strong safety, and that works.
I was gonna take who you have your safety?
No.
Joel, you have your safety?
Yeah.
Okay. You have your linebacker though. All right, I'm taking Justin Simmons.
Is there a world I can move Charles Woodson to safety? Or y'all not letting that fly?
What's your position currently? I mean, he did play safety too.
Because I want another cornerback. Actually, you know what? Give me Tyrann Mathieu. Oh, wait. Give me Ronnie Lott. Wait, no, actually.
This is Wash Ronnie Lott.
Ronnie Lott did make a first team All Pro though.
I'm looking at
he
the
was
first team.
Yeah.
He was
only 1 year.
Niners,
It was really only 1 year though.
I'm jacking Rodney Harrison too though. Like this
My apologies, Ronnie. I thought once you left the Niners, you were done. No, you had one elite year, facts.
Like, I'm gonna stick with Matthews. Fuck it. I'm gonna stick with my vibe. I don't care what nobody say.
You're going with Tyrann Mathieu?
Yeah.
Okay. So for your next, you're going Tyrann Mathieu. Just say that for the camera. You know, nice.
I'm going Tyrann Mathieu. Yeah, All Pro. Let's do it.
I'm good with 2 corners here on the board. There's really one that I want. I think with I'm gonna take my edge rusher here. I'm going with Max Crosby. And for my linebacker, I like Derek Johnson on the Chiefs, but I'm gonna go with Randy Gradishar. He was part of the Broncos' elite Orange Crush defense. One of the best linebackers of all time in his time. 7-time Pro Bowler, two-time first-team All-Pro, 3-time second-team All-Pro, 1978 Defensive Player of the Year.
They don't talk about that enough.
Yeah, man, they don't. Give me Randy Gradishar. He was 6'7" as a linebacker.
Man.
Give me Jamal Williams for my interior D-line.
I need linebacker and interior. I'll take Derek Johnson for linebacker.
Okay, Aqib Talib was taken a while ago, right? Yeah.
Yo, brother.
Dude, he's my second pick.
So my next pick's going to be Emmett Thomas, Chiefs cornerback.
Legend.
They're all legends.
Of course.
You know, I asked that because I mark him down. I just didn't strike that one off after the selection was made.
It's okay, buddy.
And with my final pick at cornerback, there's actually some good players in here. I'm going to go with Antonio Cromartie, wrap up my team. My final pick.
Oh, it's on me. I just need interior defensive linemen. It's between Zach Allen, Dontarian Poe. I'll go with Zach Allen.
Didn't you take Zach Allen?
No, I didn't. I took Chris Jones. So no, you took Cromartie over Chris Harris Jr.?
Mm-hmm.
That's a good pick. I was going to take Cromartie. I'm not going to lie. I ain't mad with Chris Harris Jr., but I was definitely going to take Cromartie.
My last pick, give me Rod Woodson. His 1 all-team pro.
1 first-team All-Pro. Sorry.
I just said that.
You see 1 team All-Pro.
No, like 1 all-team pro. Like, that's it, bro.
It is wrong, but yeah. And for my final pick in my draft, I'm going to go with Chris Harris Jr. And to wrap up my all-time AFC West defense, my team is Chris Jones, Max Crosby, Randy Gradishar, 1978 Defense Player of the Year, Patrick Surtain II, Chris Harris Jr., Eric Weddle, and Eric Berry.
And my team is Jamal Williams, Derek Thomas, Ted Hendricks, Champ Bailey, Charles Woodson, Rod Woodson, and Tyrann Mathieu.
I got Zach Allen, Von Miller, Derek Johnson, Aqib Talib, Nnamdi Asomugha, Justin Simmons, and Derwin James.
Starting off my squad, I've got Howie Long, I've got Khalil Mack at edge, and Junior Seau at linebacker. Rest in peace to a legend. In my secondary, I got Emmett Thomas and Antonio Cromartie at corner, and Steve Atwater and John Lynch at safety.
Who do you guys think won this all-time AFC West draft? Let us know in the comments section down below.
First one, they said it was me or Riv. I won the vote, matter of fact, but Riv was close.
I would say your defense is pretty good.
Thanks.
The defense you built it was really good.
You won the last one for real?
The vote on Twitter, at least.
How much did you win by?
I was 45. You were like 37. Him and Drew got nothing. Nothing at all, bro.
What I learned is that the offensive line pictures don't matter to people.
Nah.
That's what I learned.
That's what I mean. You still. Who are your three receivers?
My three receivers were Demaryius Thomas, Devontae Adams, Keenan Allen.
Okay, word.
His receivers is fine. Like my receivers is the worst part of my team.
That's why
But his offensive line is elite.
Yeah, no one's gonna care.
Yeah, his offensive line is way better than mine.
Yeah, nobody's gonna give a fuck at all.
But that's gonna do it for this episode of the Pick a Side Podcast, episode 602. You guys can follow us on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod, on Instagram and TikTok at Pick a Side Podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.